Alrighty, what's good, everyone joining in the stream right now? What's good, everyone joining in the stream? We have breaking news that the U.S. launched strikes into southern Iran, which is continuing the war. The ceasefire is obviously, it seems like, not upholding. It's according to BBC News. According to BBC News, absolutely insane news coming out of there. Seems like the ceasefire has completely fell through. Completely. With the U.S. Launching strikes. It seems like their negotiations aren't working. What's up, everyone joining in? If you're on YouTube here, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It should help get it out to more people. What's up, everyone joining in from Dean's stream? What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? We're going to start getting people up here very, very soon. What's up, Erica? What's up, Jonna? What's up, Miracle? What's up, Local? What's up, Abby? How you doing? What's good, everyone joining in the stream? What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? We're going to start getting people up here very, very soon. How's everybody doing? What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? What's up, Danny? What's up, Georgia? What's up, Adam? What's up, Courtney? How you doing? What's up, Strong Zero? What's up, Bunny? What's up, everyone joining in? If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, and we're going to start getting people up here in a quick second, everybody. What's good, everyone joining in the stream? What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? If you're here on TikTok, tap that screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Marshall, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you very much. Let's get this first person up here for today, everybody. Again, only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates. Let's get the first person up here, everybody.
Yo,
what's up,
do you remember me? Like, because I tapped out, like, last time.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump.
Okay, and if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
I mean, well, that's not... Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Can I just address, like, a question real quick?
Before you do, if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Yeah, I would just pick Trump.
Okay, all right. Why do you support Donald Trump?
Yeah, but wait, I would just like to address something, your question first, if that's okay.
Okay, what's your birth year actually first?
May 2008, I was born on the 15th. It would just mean that my birthday was 10 days ago.
Okay, alrighty. Just go into specifically why you support Trump.
Yeah, okay, cool. So let me just address your question first. So, like, the hidden bridge in your question would just be that the disqualifying factor pointed to would just automatically override the framework regarding my support, but that is the exact thing we need to prove because my support would just be grounded in a deeper axiological virtue and theoretic motivational structure, not that the claim that said being person, which would just be in reference to Trump in the scenario, perfectly instantiates every virtue. So
okay, we're just gonna go on to the next individual. I feel like they're trolling. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Yo, how old are you?
18.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
What's your birth year?
2008.
Okay.
April.
And if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. And why do you support Trump?
Pretty much only because of his efforts to protect Jewish Americans and then also the state of Israel.
Okay. So you're just going to support him no matter what, essentially?
Well,
Just
I mean, the
because
big
he
thing for me
prioritizes that particular interest. So it sounds like you're Israel
being a
first,
Jewish
not America
American, I
first.
just feel like safest under him as a rule compared to anyone else.
How does doing whatever the state of Israel is wanting you to do going to be the safest for Jewish Americans?
Well, let me just start by asking, are you for a free Palestine?
Yes.
Okay, so when you say that, what do you mean?
I think that Palestinians should have equal rights as every other
What does
human
that
being on
mean?
the planet.
What when you say free, like freedom of what?
And they should, from oppression, occupation, apartheid.
Okay, of occupation of Hamas?
No, specifically of the state
Oh
of Israel.
no, okay. So you think that it's okay that
I don't
Hamas
support
is...
Hamas. No,
You don't. So
I
you
don't.
also want a freedom of Hamas.
I was just like, the statement that we're making there is specifically from the state of Israel's occupation.
Okay, so but you also want a freedom from Hamas, if I'm being correct.
Well, obviously, I don't support any oppressive regime.
Well, you realize that a big democratic belief is free Palestine from the river to the sea, which means you basically don't support the state of Israel. Are you of that belief?
A free Palestine doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a state in which Israelis will still be able to live. But yeah,
No,
a
some people
ethno-supremacist
believe
state,
from the river to the sea.
an ethno-supremacist state should not exist, right? There should be a state with equal rights.
Okay, but do you realize that some people have the belief of from the river to the sea?
Well, it depends on what that means, right? That means
When you
just
say
that
from the
Palestine
river to
should
the
be
sea,
free.
you mean that that Israel shouldn't exist. That's what that means.
Well, it depends on the person,
Yes,
right?
that
Because
there's no.
the
I
statement
guess
as a
maybe you can
whole,
interpret.
no, the statement as a whole just means that Palestinians will be free, not that the state of Israel won't exist at all, right? Someone could say that and still believe in a two-state solution, right?
Yeah, but when you say
Do you,
from
do
the
you
river to
agree
the
someone could?
sea,
Do you agree that someone could say that and still believe in a two-state solution?
well, when you're saying
You're not
Palestine should be
answering the
free from the
question.
river, a two-state solution. I mean, but like then you're just getting into what is to the river to like the entire point of the river and the sea is that's where Israel
Is that
sits.
Palestinians
So
are
that
free, not that so that Palestinians are under occupation, aren't treated without equal rights and equal determination under the law,
okay, but
right?
if I'm not wrong, Palestinians they have Gaza, right? That's like their land, and that's what's being fought over,
Do you not
right?
think that there are illegal settlements in the West Bank? Do you not think there's encroachment into Gaza? Do you not think that they completely eviscerated or a majority of the civilian infrastructure within Gaza, ethnically cleansed them from the area, and they're especially setting up zones to then restrict Gazans from going back into the area in which was exploded? So, I mean, I just don't think that you're not even acknowledging any of those things.
No, I'm just saying that there are certain people, especially on the
And also,
left,
wait,
that
what can you name one American policy that supports America that you support of Donald Trump's?
well, there's a couple things he did to help Jewish Americans in particular. So the first one, he passed an executive order, like I think in his this term and also in his first term, that broadened the definition of anti-Semitism and did a lot of the things that certain politicians like
Do
Mamdani
you think
aren't
being
doing.
anti-Israel is anti-Semitic?
It depends in what context. If you don't think Israel should exist, like Mamdani has said before, how
The
he doesn't
broadening of the
support the
wait, let me just
existence
clarify.
of a state of Israel, then that would be anti-Semitic. Yes.
Wait. Zoran Mamdani said that a state of Israel should exist with equal rights, meaning there's not a Jewish ethno-supremacist state.
No, he never recognized that the state of Israel even like
Yeah,
existed.
he said Israel should exist with equal rights. That's what he said. I know exactly
Can
what he
you
said.
pull that up where he said that? Because
I don't need to pull it up because one, it's not relevant to the stream. We're not talking about Zoran, right? You brought this
well,
up as
that's
a
just
pivot,
someone on the left
but I
who
can tell
is.
you as a fact that that exists, and I'd be willing to bet you on it.
And then he also didn't recognize Holocaust
Also,
Remembrance Day.
I'm waiting. So the definition you said that they broadened, right, just includes anything that is anti-Israel to be anti-Semitic. So do you think being
I don't know
anti-Zionist
exactly
is
what. I just know
anti-Semitic?
that he did broaden the definition to
Do you think I'm anti-Semitic?
why. You'd have to give me. I can't just say that
I'm
without
asking you,
anything.
do you think I'm anti-Semitic?
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything that you believe in yet. So how would I
Based
ever
upon
be
what
able
you
to-
know about me so far, do you think I'm anti-Semitic?
Just that you're on the left?
No, everything that you know about me so far.
I don't know much.
I don't. It depends. Based upon what you know. You can
But,
obviously
but I don't
change
know
that
much,
based
so I
upon.
can't just say you're anti-Semitic. That's not right. That's not right.
Okay, so you don't have a determination that I am. Okay, let me ask you this question. If I were to tell you that I'm anti-Zionist, or would you then say that I'm anti-Semitic?
Okay, but when you say anti-Zionist, what do you mean?
I'm against like ethnostates, all ethnostates.
Okay, so you're against the state of Israel.
Existing as an ethnostate, yes.
Okay, so you don't believe in the self-determination for Jewish people.
As an ethnostate, right? I believe that.
Yes, but that's
I
the
believe Jewish
because you
people
realize
have the
that
right
Israel's
to
the only
exist.
place where.
I believe Jewish people
No,
have
I
the right to
understand.
exist, right? Like every other person, but
But
you do not have
Israel's
the
the
right
only
to create an
place where
ethnostate.
Jews are in a majority, so that means that their
Wait, do
self-determination
you-
is gone.
Okay, wait, I have a question. Do you think that white people deserve an ethnostate?
No, but there's other lands
Do you
that
think
white
it would
people
be
have a
justified
majority
for
in.
white
That's
people to create an
that's the big
ethnostate?
point. Do you think every group has
Answer the question. Do you
deserves
think it
a
would be
place?
justified for white people to create an ethnostate?
No, that's not relevant though. I'm saying that
now
listen
none
to
of
me,
these
listen-
questions are
no,
relevant.
No, listen to me.
Sir, I
Listen
think
to
that
me.
your hyper obsession with defending a foreign country's interests over this
I
country
didn't
as
even
a
talk
whole,
about the foreign
right, in of
country. I'm
itself.
talking about Jewish
Yes,
Americans.
no, you're
What?
specifically talking about that because you're saying that anything that is against the state of Israel is going to be anti-Semitic, which is
No,
the
that's
definition
not
that you're
true. I
applying
don't
here within
know.
the
I
United
just
States.
said all I said is that not supporting the existence of the state of Israel. I think Israel does some
Yeah, if
messed
you
up
don't
stuff. Of
support
course,
the
I don't
existence
support
of an
everything they do.
ethnostate,
I don't support
that's not
Netanyahu
anti-Semitic.
entirely. What is?
It's not anti-Semitic to disagree with an ethnostate existing.
Yeah, I agree that you can disagree with what they're
Like, do
doing
you
and
know
that
what
they're
you're saying
handling.
right now?
No. You have to listen to me. Every group, I think, in my opinion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, deserves a place where they are in a majority. Do you agree
Every
with that?
group deserves an ethnostate. Is that what you just said?
No, I'm not talking about ethnostates.
Okay, so
I'm
you
talking-
deserve a
what's the
place that you
definition
can
of
live. You
ethnostate?
can have a place where you can live without having an ethnostate.
Where you're a majority. Where you're a majority.
That's an
That's the big
ethnostate.
thing.
If
Okay,
you're saying
so
that
don't
you're
you think every
maintaining
group
an
deserves
ethnic
a place
majority,
where
that's
they're
an
a majority?
ethnostate.
Yes, I think most groups deserve that, or every group.
Okay, so do you think white people deserve to be able to create an ethnostate?
There's plenty of places where white people are a majority. So if you
And do you think it's justified if they were to try to maintain that?
the
right?
reason
The
they
use of
created the
legal action.
ethno-state, Israel, is because of the Holocaust. It's different circumstances. White people have not had that level of discrimination ever.
Wait, are you saying the only
So-
way to prevent a Holocaust is if you establish a Jewish ethno-state?
It helped protect Jewish people, sure.
Wait, you can understand that Jewish people can have protection without there being an ethno-state. Do you think that Jewish
Yeah, but
people...
it's easier if there's an ethno-state to protect Jewish people than
I mean,
in the
that's insane.
1940s.
Okay, that's
not
like
insane.
that's like
What?
saying white people specifically.
That's like saying
need
people
an
are
ethno-state
safe.
in order to be able to stay safe. That's like a ridiculous claim, right? You can. Do you
No,
think that
but you're
Jewish
just using
Americans are
white
safe
people.
in
But
this?
white people.
Do you think
white
Jewish
people
Americans
are
are
a
safe in the
minority.
U.S.?
What are you talking about?
Do you think Jewish Americans are safe in the U.S. under Trump?
Under Trump, they're safer than they would be under Kamala or Biden. That's for sure.
Are you safe in this country? Like generally.
What do you mean by safe? Like, it depend? Like, I live in a safe neighborhood, so I feel safe. But like, maybe if I
Okay.
was in an anti-Semitic college campus or something like that, then I wouldn't feel safe.
Anti-Semitic college campus. What college
What's
campus
so
are you
funny?
referencing?
I don't know. Look in the news in 2023, 2024. There was plenty of anti-Semitism. Do you deny that?
Can you name one
happening or
college
what?
that you're referencing?
I'm pretty sure in Columbia University there was examples
Columbia
of
University. So you felt like if you would
students?
go to Columbia University that you'd get attacked just for going there?
I say in 2023 or 2024. Before, let me explain this. Before, do you agree with that there were like a bunch of issues happening?
Wait,
Anti-Semitic.
anti-Semitism exists, and there are anti-Semitic attacks that exist. But to act like you aren't like generally
Yes.
safe in the country is obviously an absurd thing to say. So the point that I'm making is that we don't exist in a Jewish
we're more-
ethno-state. Listen, we don't exist.
Anti-Semitism is real.
We don't
You're just
exist.
denying
Please
it.
be quiet and listen to me for a second. We don't exist in a current Jewish ethno-state, yet you feel safe. So you
No,
can be safe
who
without
said
a
I
Jewish
feel
ethno-state.
safe? Who said I
Thank
feel
you for the
safe?
concession.
Who said I feel safe? Whoever said that? You
You
just
said
put
that.
words
You
in
just
my
said I
mouth.
generally feel safe.
No, I said it depends where you are. Obviously, I'm in a safe neighborhood where there aren't, there's not like discrimination against anyone. I could say, do
you're
black
saying
people feel
Jewish
safe in
people
America?
can find safe
Oh, in
neighborhoods
my
to live
neighborhood?
in without having an ethno-state?
Sure,
Is that
if
your
they're very
argument?
wealthy, but not everyone has that.
Okay, so now it's
ability.
specifically if you're wealthy. Okay, so you don't think that
You just put words in my mouth and said that I feel safe. I still can't get over that.
Okay,
Jewish
so
people, anti-Semitism is a huge issue in America nowadays. It's a huge issue. I think you're kind of like joking about it because you think it's like funny or something. But
I don't think it's
a lot of
no, I
Jewish
don't
people
think
don't
it's
feel
funny to
safe. They don't
joke
feel
about
like they
violence. You're
can.
being ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you think it's safer?
No, you're being
Do you think
ridiculous.
it's safer for Jewish people in Israel or in America?
I mean, I'd have to look at the statistics, but I don't know. Like, I can't like make a claim like that. I'd have to look at statistics. I think like you making something like that based off vibes purely is not smart. But I think that creating a state of just like primarily intended for Jewish people is a positive thing for sure.
I don't
Can't
think
say that's
so.
like
I disagree.
how is that
with
not
ethno
positive
states
for the
across
safety of
board.
Jewish people? That has to be
You
positive.
couldn't even provide the evidence. You never even gave an evidence
Yeah,
to
I'd have to
indicate that
do
Jewish
research.
Americans are safer in
I'd have to
Israel
do
than they
research.
are
But
anywhere
you're
else around the
against.
world.
You're against. If I'm not mistaken, you're against just the entire existence of Israel,
Of
which
any
is just
ethno-state.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah,
That's
call me
anti-Semitic.
anti-Semitic
That's
because I disagree with
anti-Semitic.
ethno-states. Yeah,
I
you're
do.
really gonna win that argument. Yeah, everyone.
No,
yeah,
but
yeah, you're anti-Semitic because you disagree with the existence of an ethno-state. Oh my God, Parker, you're so anti-Semitic. Yeah, fucking run on that. I dare you. That's embarrassing.
running.
No
I'm
fucking
not
person
running.
will take you seriously. Do you realize how insane that is to say that Parker get a job as anti-Semitic because he disagrees with the existence of a fucking ethno-state?
No, but
Get your
that-
head out of your
that's-
ass. What the fuck are you talking about?
You're
Genuinely, that's the
crashing
most
out because
insane,
you're
batshit
crashing
crazy
out. You're
position
crashing
ever.
out. You're
Wait,
crashing
dude,
out.
no, you think it's crashing out for me to say that
You're
your
crashing out.
position is
You gonna
insane?
kick me or what?
No,
What?
I'm not going to kick you. I'm just saying your position's insane.
I don't think it is because no, but is for Jewish people.
You just
it
called
was
me
different.
anti-Semitic because I said I disagree with ethno-states existing, and I'm laughing at that and making a joke
think-
out of it, and you're
I
saying I'm
think-
crashing out. Like, that's hilarious.
No, but I think
Are you not crashing out for calling me anti-Semitic just for disagreeing with ethno-states existing?
campaigning for the just complete removal of the state of Israel is could be anti-Semitic.
Wait,
Obviously,
I think no ethno-state should exist. A state can exist without an ethno-state.
okay. So
do you think
where do you
states
think
can exist
you
without
think-
being ethno-states?
Do you realize that Jewish people have
Can
been
you
kicked
answer?
out of like?
Can you answer any question? Do
What?
you think states can exist without being an ethno-state?
Like, what do you mean states? Like
Do you
countries?
think a country can exist without being an ethno-state?
Obviously, what type of question
Okay,
is
so
that?
a country can exist without being an ethno-state. So why are you saying
Yep.
the country of Israel can't exist without being an ethno-state? Are you saying the foundation of what it means to be the nation of Israel is fundamentally built on being
Well,
an ethno-state?
you can-
Fundamentally built on the suppression of Palestinians or of any other group from being within the country? Is that
No,
your
the
argument?
reason-
That the fundamental aspect of Israeli culture, of Israel as a nation, is that it fundamentally relies upon the suppressions of other peoples from being within this nation of
No,
Israel?
I'm not super sure of the history on it, but if I'm not mistaken, it was created as an ethno-state, right? It was created for Jewish people, right?
That doesn't mean it should. That doesn't mean
Okay,
the
but
actions that existed to
would
create it
you?
are justified.
They
Do you not
still
think the
do they?
Nakba was a horrible thing? Do you not think the forceful
No. Let me
expulsion
finish. Let me
of
finish.
Palestinians was a horrible thing? Do you not think it's bad for them to go in and steal land from innocent people?
Nowadays
Can you answer
Israel?
any of these questions?
Wait. What did you say?
You're
I was
literally
looking something
trying
up.
to distract away from any domestic policy to actually help out people here in this country by getting us to focus on foreign wars all around the world for a foreign country, and you can't even fucking tell me whether or not you think it's fucking wrong for the actions that they engage in to be able to create their state were wrong in the very first place? You can't even engage with that from a historical standpoint?
What did you ask?
You're not even paying attention.
I was looking something up because I was interested.
Yeah, do you believe that the Nakba was bad? The
I do
forceful
not know what that
expulsion
is.
of Palestinians.
No idea what that is.
The forceful
What is the
expulsion of
Nakba?
Palestinians where they stole Palestinians' land.
In Israel?
You removed them from the area to establish a Jewish
When was
ethno
this?
state.
When was this?
What do you mean, when was this? This was 19...
Oh.
This was
Oh,
after World War II, 1947.
I
1946.
mean, it's tricky because like at the time, like just Jewish people were just in such like a tough place.
So it's
I
justified
don't.
to ethnically cleanse people because ethnic
I mean, did
cleansing happened to
they
Jewish
kill
people?
people?
Do you realize you're just justifying... Do you realize
How many
that
people
you're
did they kill?
literally justifying the very actions that happened to Jewish people, right? You're
Yeah, but how many
justifying
people did
ethnic
they
cleansing
kill?
that happened to Jewish people within the 30s,
How
within the
many
20s.
people did it
That happened.
kill?
Those are anti-Semitic actions that impacted Jewish people, and you're perpetuating the justification for those things that impacted Jewish people for generations. The forceful expulsion. Why are you justifying that? Do you realize
but
that then justifies the actions that happened to Jewish people?
Wait,
You're
so
not even
when
realizing that.
I get that Israel was in place of like Palestinian land, right? So what did they do to the Palestinians who were living there before?
Forcefully expelled them from the land.
Okay, did they kill
Violently.
them?
Through killing, through making the
How many
conditions so
people
much
did they kill?
worse by stealing their land.
How many people? Well, what would your solution be then for all these Jewish people that have literally no place to stay because they get kicked out of everywhere they
I mean,
live?
I believe that the U.S.
Ever.
should have accepted them in the first place. I
Okay,
don't
but
believe
they
that there
would have
should
never done
had
that. So
I don't think
so
that there
we
should have
can't
had to have been an establishment. But the
we
point that I would
can't
make
speak in
is that
hypotheticals
you can.
because they didn't want to let the Jewish people in. So you had to put them somewhere, right? You can't just let them
Wait, that
sit in
doesn't mean
Germany and
forcefully
die.
take people's land. So then
So
where are you
what
going to
does
send all
it
the
mean
people that
then?
you're
Where do you want to put
forcefully?
them?
Wait, so then where are you going to put all the people that you're forcefully
The
ripping out of the land?
neighboring countries that would accept those people. No one would
Oh,
accept.
now
the
it's about
Jewish people.
now it's about the neighboring countries that will accept them. So why don't you say the same
But no
thing for
one
all
would
the
accept the
Wait, shut the
Jews.
fuck
No
up.
one would.
Why don't you say the same thing for that? Why don't you say the same thing for the Jewish refugees? Why don't you say, oh, it's just going to be whatever country accepts them? Why do you have to say that specifically they need to forcefully take land from other people to then put the problem onto other people? That makes no fucking sense. Do you realize how insane that is?
Did you mute me?
Yes, I did mute you. Does
Okay,
that hurt
well,
your feelings?
I was talking. No, you didn't hear my
Cool.
feelings. I was talking. No, I was saying that the reason that the Palestinians could be relocated to nearby countries is because those are Muslim countries, and the Palestinians were mostly Muslim. They share a cultural similarity that would get the people to actually accept them. The Jewish people, no one wanted to accept them. Even America didn't want to accept them because everyone was anti-Semitic. Because no one freaking cared, bro.
So
Just
because
like
because
you're
Jewish people
anti-Semitic.
weren't accepted into anywhere, which by the way, there were countries that did accept Jewish refugees to
Where
very
would
high
you put
extents.
them? I
Well, you're
don't
saying,
know.
oh, it's then justified for them to go forcefully expel people from their lands and steal their properties. What?
No, it's not
Are you fucking
justified,
insane?
obviously, but history is rough, and you had to put the Jews somewhere. So
History is
you might
rough,
as
does
well.
not justify ethnic cleansing, does not justify
But where
mass
would you
killing
put
of
the Jewish
people.
people then? I'm asking you a question. Where would you put them? Okay, and don't speak in
Without
hypotheticals.
stealing
Oh,
the land of
America.
people, you can
Yeah,
go into
where?
areas specifically where there
Where?
are not.
Where?
Wait, hold up,
I
listen.
don't think you could do that.
No, when you say, "Oh, I don't think you can do that," well, then figure it out yourself, right? You have to do that
Oh,
yourself.
so
You can't
you're
forcefully shut up. Listen, you cannot say it's justified to forcefully steal other people's homes because you don't have a home yourself. Now, let me ask you this question, okay? Homeless people in this country, do you think they're justified in stealing your home?
no.
But they don't have a home. Where should they go?
But were they persecuted against and killed?
Yes,
and
they don't have the access to get access
genocided?
to
They were
housing in this country.
genocided. They were genocided by 6 million
So
of them
they
were
had to
genocided.
forcefully
Is that
leave
true?
a certain
It's
area
a
because
different
of something bad
scenario. It's a
happening.
different scenario. No one's killing homeless people willingly.
Wait,
All
so
right,
then
there's
wait,
no
I have a
Hitler
question.
that's killing
Would
homeless
Palestinians
people.
be justified in stealing their houses back from the Israelis, under your view?
Would you say that the Israeli
Are
quote unquote
Palestinians
genocide?
justified in stealing the land back from the Israelis?
Sure, go ahead. But they're not because it's a war, right? And they haven't done it so far.
Wait,
Why
you
aren't they
just
winning?
so you just
It's a war.
justified that you think it's justified for
If
Palestinians
they
to go
think
in
they
and steal
deserve
the
the
land
land,
back?
the land in Gaza, sure. But there's Hamas there.
Wait,
and
not just in
it's
Gaza, but the rest of Israel.
back from the 1945
1947, yes.
or whatever. Sure, they can try. I mean, that would be.
Sure,
I
they
don't know
can
if
try.
that'd
So
be a
you
war
think that's
crime.
justified?
No, that would probably be a war crime, right? Isn't that legal? I
Okay.
don't know enough
Oh,
about
now
that,
you
but
are going to recognize war crimes. The ICC and the ICJ are recognizing that the Israeli government are committing war crimes in Gaza. You know that, right?
yes,
Do you
I
agree with
already have
that?
told you before. No, no. Can I explain this to you? I don't agree entirely with what Israel is doing in Gaza. I think they're definitely executing it wrong. But I think calling for the entire, just like the destroyal of their state, is not what I agree with. All right, that's my position. So I can't
You
really
can
speak
put in the
on.
Constitution that
You
it's a
can definitely,
secular
in my
state.
opinion.
Wait, can't you
You
put in the Constitution that it's a secular state with equal rights? And then can't you just like end the fucking
Okay, but
further
then you realize what would
going
happen then
into?
is that
Wait,
you realize that.
listen. Can't you end the furtherance of Israel in terms of giving weapons to people to go into the West Bank to literally go continually steal land from Palestinians?
Do you acknowledge that the
Make continual settlements?
most Muslim people, if they could choose to do so, they would
Wait,
abolish
answer
like
this
all Jews
question.
and kill them?
Can you address the question? Do you think that there should be a prevention of the continued settlements, forceful settlements of Israelis going in and stealing land from Palestinians in the West Bank?
Wait, can you repeat your question? Forceful?
Yeah, do you think there should be an end to all of the forceful creation of settlements from Israeli settlers that are being given arms by the Israeli government to go in to the West Bank and steal land from Palestinians?
Yes, I don't think they should be stealing land from Palestinians. Again, I've told you this. I criticize the Israeli government, but I don't think calling for an abolition of the Israeli state is smart. I don't think that's what should happen.
Do you think
Because
there
you
should be a
realize that,
recognition of the state of Palestine?
sure, whatever. I don't,
What do you
yeah.
mean, sure, whatever? I'm asking you, what do you
It
think?
doesn't really affect me as a Jewish American, but sure, you can do
Wait,
it.
I'm asking you, what do you, no, you say it doesn't affect you.
Yes.
You brought this up
They,
as the reason why you
if
support Trump.
if
If it doesn't
you
affect you, why are you bringing it up?
No, I meant the state of Palestine doesn't affect me. That's what I'm saying. Like if the Palestine exists as the small little chunk it was, then that sure. But as long as we're not taking
So do
Israeli
you see how
land,
like he says it's small? Like you're such a disgusting fuck, right?
what do you
Actually,
mean?
like to
Is it
say,
not
oh, the
small?
small little
What?
chunk that it is, after literally
It is a small little chunk.
justifying the
What?
country that literally went and stole the fucking land and made it small in the first place. Who fucking made it small?
Okay. Yeah, but I do support
The
Israel
Israeli
for going
settlers
in
that
there in
violently stole the land.
1947.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, imagine saying that, right, about
What?
any other fucking context. You're
Parker,
so
are you
disgusting
telling me
for
that Palestine isn't small? What?
Why was it made small?
Oh, so now you want me to
Why
deny?
was
You
it
want me
made
to like?
small? Because of the
I
state that
get.
you support, right?
Yes, I
You were
get. But if you
defending
want to
those
go back to
actions. I just had to tell you
1947,
that these things happened. You didn't even know it. And then you
what?
justified it. And then, by the
No, I
way,
did know that happened, but I didn't know you wanted me to deny that or to, reject the idea that Israel was created in 1947. That's disgusting. They deserve a place at 1947 to go, and you still haven't given me an alternative of where
wait,
you
let
would
me
put all
answer the
these
question.
Jewish people.
So they deserve to go steal land from Palestinians violently. Is that your argument?
Okay, no, they deserved a place to go, and
Is
there were
that
no
their right? Is it their
alternatives.
right to steal land from other people?
I don't know. No, it's no one's right to steal land from
Okay, so then
someone.
why
But
are
I
you
mean,
making that argument?
well, it was a specific circumstance that they had. All right, there was a genocide of
So
6
that
million
doesn't justify
people.
stealing
What do you
other
mean
people's land.
so? Oh my God. Does a genocide of 6 million people and basically Hitler coming in and killing all my
Justify
ancestors
you
not
going in
justify
and
them
committing
getting a
those
little
crimes against
land?
another group of people? Fuck no. I
Are
think
you
that
kidding me?
you know what it means? It means the fucking world should have responded and created conditions to accept people, right?
I got it.
Specifically so that
But
there isn't conditions like that that are going to
after
affect
6
people.
million
Because that is a
deaths, they
genuine
deserve to
concern for the
move a
safety of
couple
people.
people
But what you
to neighboring
can't
lands.
you cannot then use the argument that there needs to be safety for certain people to then justify those people then committing acts of violence, stealing, and literally fucking killing people at mass. Do you realize how fucking insane that is? What is wrong with you? A couple people. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
You're not letting me speak. Wait, what do you mean a couple people? What did I say? A couple people?
I mean, you were literally just speaking. I mean, if you don't know what you said, that's on you.
I'm saying that you're saying that Israel should be a secular state, right?
Yes.
All right, so do
Every
you
single country
acknowledge?
should be
I got it.
secular and should not be a theocracy.
I got it.
Every single
So-
country should have equal rights for everybody.
All right. Do you realize that Iran's anti-Semitic? Do you acknowledge that? Do you acknowledge that their leader denied the Holocaust ever happening?
You mean the
Do you
Ayatollah?
acknowledge that happened?
Were you saying the Ayatollah that's dead now?
It
Or are
just
you
says
saying the
on
Ayatollah's
Google,
son? I'm just asking because I don't defend the IRGC. I
just
think the
in
IRGC is
general.
horrible and
I
disgusting.
get it, but in general, the general sentiment in Iran is that most people will deny that the Holocaust even happened. Pretty much all of them are
I mean, I would have
anti-Semitic.
to
All
see a
right.
source for that.
All
Like, I
right.
don't know why
No,
you're
I
making a
know.
claim about the general population now.
But I'm just saying, in general, if you make Israel a secular state, then guess who would come into that country? It would be all the neighboring Middle Eastern Muslims, pretty much. They would come into the country, right? And they would probably want to kill the Jews. That's just the way it would work, all right?
Okay,
Because they all hate
so you're
them.
making all of these assumptions that people are going to come in and want to kill people. If there's a secular state to prevent that from happening, there is still law enforcement that exists to prevent that. Right? There's a secular state. There's still going to be recognition for all of these things, especially from an international standpoint. And there's absolutely funding to be able to prevent these things from happening in the first place. Hell, Israel is the most funded foreign, in terms of foreign aid of any country in the world.
All right, I just looked up how many people died when Israel was created in 1947, and it says 20,000. So now I ask you a question. Would
What are you searching that up on?
JewishVoiceForPeace.org. All right? Do you agree with that? Is that a valuable source or what?
I mean, I'm not
That's fine.
familiar specifically with that.
All right, yeah,
one,
well,
but
it's a source. So here's the question. Would you, after the Holocaust, right, more than 6 million Jews died, I don't know the exact number, whatever, and they were looking for a place to go, and you still haven't given me an alternative of where they would go, but they're looking for a place.
But you don't have to. You have to understand that the same.
So would you
thing-
trade off
Hold
20,000
up.
deaths
So
for
wait, are
giving
you
those
saying
people
because
at
I
least
can't give you an explanation for what country specifically a certain person would go to, that then justifies them going in stealing land from other people? That's what you have to justify. And if you don't think that's
It's
justified,
not a full
well, then you can't
justification.
fucking
It'll
make
never
the
be.
argument.
Can you justify any war ever? I mean, not fully. War is gross, but that it has to happen. There was no other
No, it
alternative. The
doesn't.
Jewish people would have just died.
Wait,
I
you
mean-
understand that you can prevent that from happening without going in and fucking murdering other people and stealing their
There
land,
was no way to
displacing
prevent
over
it. You still haven't given me an
750,000 people.
alternative. You still
What's that?
haven't given me an alternative.
So, okay, just because I can't establish an alternative, which, by the way, I wouldn't be able to do for many historical events throughout history,
I got
because
it.
I would have to know the specific context of where people could go. I wouldn't know that specifically for Palestinians of where they could have gone after they were ethnically cleansed, right? So that's not an argument specifically to justify them stealing stuff from other people. I don't understand the point.
Because if you don't let the Jewish people create the state of Israel, then where would they go? And you still haven't given me an alternative. So then
You
my
keep repeating
argument
the
is that
same
the
argument.
20,000
I don't need
deaths,
to be able to
the
establish. I don't need to be able to.
should.
I don't have to provide an established.
My argument is that the
There does
20,000
not have
deaths
to be an
that
ethno
you're
state.
complaining
Wait,
about
what is
are
your
worth it.
argument? Wait, what is your argument for there needs to be an ethno state for Jewish people to exist?
What? When did I ever make that argument? Wait, there needs to be an ethno. So if Israel
Yeah,
doesn't
you're
exist,
saying the
Jewish
state of
people don't
Israel
exist?
has to exist as an ethno state, and you have to go fucking forcefully expel Palestinians and murder Palestinians
Well, when you say ethno
in order,
state, you mean
in order
just
for
like
Jewish people to
non-secular,
exist.
right? Or
That was
secular.
your argument, right?
Well, no. Well, what? When was that ever my argument?
Okay, if that's not your argument, then why are you saying that the Nakba is justified? Why are you saying the creation of the state of Israel is justified?
Wait. Can you repeat that? Because it might have been my argument.
Yes, okay. You're saying the creation of the state of Israel is justified, correct? Right, which
Yes.
means the Nakba, the forceful expulsion of Palestinians. You're saying that it is justified, right, because you think that there is no security that can be established for Jewish people without doing so, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then what is the argument that there cannot be safety or security for Jewish people if an ethno state does not exist?
I already gave that argument because if it wasn't an ethno state, right? If it was just land, you acknowledged already, I'm pretty sure, that the neighboring nations are Muslim and they want the Jewish people dead. If they could choose, they would bomb Israel
I never even
first,
said
all
any
right?
of those things, by the
All
way.
right, I get it, but you will acknowledge that because that's true. You know that those neighboring nations, if they could choose, they would bomb Israel 50 times over, and they would make it a completely Muslim region or whatever. And that's what would happen, honestly, if it wasn't an ethno state. That's, in my opinion, what would happen, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows that would happen because these people are not friendly. All right, they're not like these like nice people that are like, oh, Israel and Jews, oh my God, they're so nice. No, these people are evil, a lot of them, and the people in power will want to bomb them, and
You're
because
so
they
disgusting.
hate Jews.
You're
No,
just saying
you're
that everyone
disgusting.
there is evil. You're like, how
No,
gross
the
do you have
people
to
in
be as a
power
person
should.
just to describe everyone there as evil? So why do you want to go there if you think everyone there is evil?
Who said
Why
I
don't you
wanna
go?
there?
Why don't you go somewhere where you think everyone isn't evil? And wait, why didn't
Wait,
you
what?
go to America and then steal and kill Americans to take their land?
Because that wouldn't have been possible. We would have lost. Like what?
It wouldn't have been possible.
To go to
So
America.
you would think it's justified if it was possible.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how war
So
is
do
never
you think
like
it would
fully
have been
justified.
justified
but
if it was possible?
not fully, no. But
So
I mean,
no. Wait, why
but
not?
that's how war works.
Why not? You
now
just said it was necessary for Jewish safety. So why wouldn't you think it's justified if you do think it's justified to go do it in the state of Palestine? Why wouldn't it be justified to do that to America?
No. You're misunderstanding me. I said it wouldn't have happened. It's not possible, meaning like we wouldn't have won, like that we would have just died.
Wait, no. So I'm giving you a scenario.
'Cause
If it is the
obviously the
case that
US
you would have
military
won,
is-
if it is the case that you would have won and you could have, for example, taken over Florida, do you think that would have been justified to do?
I mean, it would have been just like
Yeah.
Israel.
Yeah, so you would have you think it would have been justified for them
I
to
think
go
Jewish people
and,
deserve the place to go.
You think
Alright?
it would have
So
been
it doesn't
justified for
matter
them to
where it
go
is.
and take over the state of Florida and murder people and expel them from Florida, forcefully expel them from Florida?
You're making it sound that would literally just be another war.
What do you mean I'm
and we would
making it
just
sound
lose.
worse than it is? That's exactly what happened.
Because guess what? That's a hypothetical, and you're just using the America.
Yeah,
but
I am.
that would never happen.
I am. Because
don't
I'm
like
trying to
speaking
show you how
hypotheticals.
fucking insane your worldview
No.
is, that you would justify this type of action. Again, are you going to view Palestinians and Americans to be different insofar as you're going to think it's justified with Palestinians, but not justified with Americans?
No, I'm just saying that they deserve a place to go, and you still aren't denying that fact.
Then would your argument be, if it was possible to take over the state of Florida, expel all of the people from Florida, and have Jewish people take over that area as a Jewish ethno-state, do you think it would have been justified?
I mean, yeah, I think it would be fine. But like realistically, though, if people were, what's so funny?
Like, dude, you're gonna get clipped, bro. That's such a crazy take.
That's not a crazy take.
What do you mean it's not a crazy take? You think it would have been justified to take over the state of Florida? By the way, you're America
you
first.
agree-
By the way, this guy claims, are you America first?
What?
Are
I
you
think-
America first?
You mean like I love America more than any other country?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So then why would you argue it's justified for people to go and take over Florida, forcefully expel Floridians from the area, and then create their own
no.
ethno
All right,
state
sorry.
in that
No, I
area?
have to interject. The forcefully expel part, or how is that relevant?
Wait, that's what happened with Palestinians. They,
If the-
in the
no,
Nakba, they
no, I know,
forcefully
because
expelled
you realize that
Palestinians from
they
the area.
didn't-
They murdered
so you-
Palestinians.
So
You were
that's
saying it's
because they
justified. You
didn't want
literally
to
just
accept
argued that
them.
it was justified. So you're America first. Yet you're arguing you think it would have been justified for them to do that to Florida if it was
No, but-
possible.
No. Listen to me. Stop.
You
It's
obviously
because-
don't think it sounds America first, do you?
No, it's because the reason that people died is because they didn't accept them. Don't you agree with that? They didn't accept them because they're
And
Muslim and they don't
my
want to.
argument is people should have accepted them.
Okay, yes, that's my argument too. So we agree on that. But guess what? The people in Florida, if we're talking hypotheticals here,
Yep,
probably
saying
would have
that people
accepted
should
them
accept
because
them is not
America
justification for
is-
them to then go and like murder people and establish an ethno-state and forcefully expel them from the area and take over
Okay,
their
but
houses.
my
So in the
argument is
same
that-
way that you wouldn't think it's justified with Florida, because I know that damn well you're not going to keep arguing that because you just got clipped in front of millions of people.
No,
'Cause that's
I
definitely
know.
going to be seen by
That's
millions.
Not funny. Not millions.
Yes, it will. I'm going to post that to Instagram and to YouTube.
No,
and that's
please
definitely going to be
don't.
seen by millions.
Oh shoot.
What do you mean, please don't? You're on a fucking YouTube and TikTok stream right now. You're cooked, buddy.
Oh yeah.
You are Israel first. You're not America first. It's embarrassing
but
that you
you
try
can
to
be
act like
both.
you're
You can-
America first while simultaneously saying it would have been justified for them to go fucking take over Florida, forcefully expel Floridians from the state, and literally take over all of their houses and
Can you
establish an
not like
ethno-state.
America
there. Like,
and
what are
Israel
you
at the same
talking
time?
about? That's not America first.
Can you not?
That's embarrassing that you think you're
can
America
you not like
first.
Israel and America at the same time? I'm confused.
You are Israel first, not America first. If you think it's
Who said that?
justified for
Whoever
them to
said
have
that?
literally taken over the state of Florida, you are Israel first, not America first.
You just used a hypothetical to quote unquote cook me, bro. We're not talking in these hypotheticals
Yeah, do you understand
that span 50
hypotheticals
years
can cook
ago.
you? You just got cooked.
Not really, because
Really?
it's not how it works.
What do you mean? Why not?
You just spoke in a hypothetical from like 60 years ago. Like, how is that getting cooked? Well, if you need to go back 60 years and do a hypothetical to cook me, sure, but you still
Because
haven't
you won't
answered
be able
my
to provide the
question.
relevant distinction between the two that justifies in one scenario, but it doesn't
I
justify
don't
it in the
think-
other.
You didn't disagree with me when I said that Jews deserved a place to go, but instead of getting
That doesn't
quote
mean they
unquote
deserve
cooked,
an ethno-state, or they deserve to murder Palestinians, or
still
they deserve
haven't-
to then ethnically cleanse Palestinians.
But you-
they
do
deserve
you
a
agree-
place to live is not the same as they deserve to fucking steal land from other people, or murder other people at mass, right? Or establish an ethno-state. Do you understand that those things are fundamentally distinct?
But do you agree that if it wasn't an ethno-state, they would be murdered?
What? I don't believe that. No, I actually. What's the evidence for that?
I mean, there's not obviously like a study or anything. It's just like an
Okay,
idea
so then why are you
that
making the claim?
the Muslim
You're saying
religion.
it's justified to commit these horrible, atrocious actions based upon a claim that you can't even justify, based upon a trust me, bro?
No, it's not a trust me, bro. It's just the idea of religion. It's just the core values of the Muslim religion.
I want to hear a source, because you have, like, this is a fundamental claim that you have that justifies why we should focus all of our due diligence as a country here in America on a foreign country's goals and not our own.
Do you acknowledge
You know what?
that
I haven't heard this whole time you're on the stream a single policy of Trump's you support that benefits Americans.
I told you that benefits Jewish Americans.
How?
What do you mean how?
Yeah, how
I
is
can
doing
name
whatever
others.
the Israeli government wants us to do within Iran beneficial to Jewish Americans?
Do you acknowledge that there was the anti-Semitism on the college campuses in 2023, 2024? There were a lot of lots of violence against Jewish Americans?
Do you think that was a result to the U.S.'s support for the state of Israel's government's actions?
Do you acknowledge that that was wrong? Do you acknowledge that that was wrong?
Of course, rises in anti-Semitism is wrong. But
Okay,
I'm asking
of course.
you're asking
so
what
Trump,
is the cause
Trump
of it?
froze the funding to some of those
You're
universities.
asking sir, you're asking what the cause is of this. What is the cause? And by the way, you say anti-Semitism, right? You're defining anything that is anti-Zionist as anti-Semitism. So what I define as anti-Semitism and what you
free Palestine.
Shut the
No,
fuck
listen
up.
to me.
What I define as anti-Semitism and what you define as anti-Semitism are radically different things. You think I'm anti-Semitic, okay? So let me just be very clear here. We fundamentally disagree on what we consider anti-Semitic here in the first place.
Yeah, and I don't think you'll
if
be
there
able
is
to
something that
change
is
my mind.
actually anti-Semitic, yes, I think that's fucked up.
What do you mean
think
actually?
it's
What does that
anti-Semitic
mean?
to disagree with the existence of ethnostates? So go fuck yourself.
Of the state of Israel. No, the state of Israel is different than any
which is
typical
an
ethno-state, bro.
ethno-state.
We have different.
Okay.
No, we have
Again,
different.
any state can exist. Any country can exist with equal rights. They should not exist as ethno-states. And you're saying that's anti-Semitic, Parker. And I'm
we
saying
have
go
different
fuck yourself.
circumstances. Different circumstances. Do you not agree that there's different circumstances between the Jewish ethnicity and any other ethnicity? Do you agree with that?
What is the relevant difference?
What do you mean? What is the relevant difference? Of course, there's a relevant
Tell me
difference.
what's the relevant difference?
Well, the Jewish ethnicity, there was a genocide against where there was more than 6 million
embarrassing, bro.
people. That's not embarrassing.
It
There's
is,
a difference
dude. It is.
between
Holy
our
shit,
ethnicity
dude.
and like the Greeks or something else, like any other.
There's no
relevant
fucking
ethnicity.
difference. There's no difference that justifies there being an ethno-state.
Yes, there is.
Okay, so you're saying if this existential threat didn't exist, if I could prove to you that that was the case, that this existential threat didn't exist, would you then say the state of Israel should not exist?
What exists? Oh, you're saying just anti-Semitism in
Yeah,
the world?
yeah. If that existential
Yeah,
threat did
if
not
you can
exist,
prove to me that
would you
anti-Semitism isn't a
then say- wait,
constant
hold up.
issue.
Yeah, if I could prove to you that there are places that Jewish Americans or Jewish people can exist around the world where they are not, where they are going to be subject to less violence than what you would
Okay,
see
but you
within the
can't prove
context
that
of the
to me.
state of
That's the
Israel,
thing.
would you then say the state of Israel existing is unjustified?
If you could prove to me
If I could
that there are
prove to you that
people,
there's less violence towards Jewish Americans than there are to Jewish people within Israel, based upon them being
No, that's
Jewish,
not even- it's
then
not
you
even
would
about
then say
violence.
it's
It's just
justified
anti-Semitism.
to say that the state of Israel shouldn't exist.
it's just anti-Semitism. It doesn't always have to be violence. It's just like feeling, just wrong to be practicing your faith or whatever. That's anti-Semitism. It doesn't just have to be violence. You're just using violence because maybe like the crime rates are lower in certain areas. It doesn't exactly mean anti-Semitism is lower. If you're surrounded by people that are just like yourself, you're gonna feel less left out and stuff like that.
Okay, so then here's the question: are there areas that you can exist within the United States that are safer for Jewish people than in Israel?
Sure.
Okay, so then that justifies that the state of Israel shouldn't exist. Under
Okay,
your view,
but
because you
there's-
said the only thing that would
No,
justify the state
because
of Israel
there's way too
existing.
many Jewish
Wait,
people.
hold up, let me please go through this.
There would be
You said the only
millions.
thing that- You said the only
You'd
thing
be
that
bringing
justifies.
millions of people in. What?
You said the only thing that justifies the state of Israel existing is that it's the safest place for Jewish people in the world.
No. Oh my God. When did I say that?
Yeah,
I
because
said it
we
offers a
just-
safe place for Jewish people in the world, not the safest place for Jewish people in the world. What? It offers a safe place. You can't deny that. Is Israel safe for Jews? Like what? Of
So
course.
then you agree there are other
All
safe
Jews.
places, so it's not necessary to establish an ethno-state.
Okay, but are there? What's the population in Israel? Let's see that. How many people have ever lived in Israel? It says right now there's 10 million people in
Can
Israel.
I have a concession on that point? That it's
What's the
not
concession?
necessary to establish an ethno-state.
Are you? I mean, it's not like absolutely necessary if you'd find
Thank you
a
for
way
the
to
concession,
relocate-
everybody. Watch that. Boom. His whole argument was it is
No, that's
absolutely
not- what?
necessary for an ethno-state to exist, for people
Yes,
who
no,
are
but
Jewish to have
in
security
in
around.
reality, of
Please
course.
be
but
quiet.
you're-
Let me finish.
What?
Yeah, your argument was that the justification for the state of Israel existing in terms of an ethno state is literally the fact that there is no other place they could go to that would have been safe for them. That is the whole argument you've been making this entire time. I just want to clarify. So the fact
Yes,
that you just conceded
back
there are other
then.
areas that Jewish people can go to that they would be safe in,
Of
then
course,
concedes the
you're
point that it's not necessary to establish an ethno state.
okay. But what are you gonna? You realize how many people have ever lived in Israel, right? There's been
Oh my
hundreds of
God.
millions of people probably in Israel ever, right?
What? What
Right
is
now
the
there's
population
about
of
10
Israel?
mil. Right now, 10 million, 7.7 million in Jews, and you could just do the math of how much it's been around for like what 60 years something. People have
Yeah,
reproduced
that
whatever.
math is not good. That
What? It
math
says
is
77.
atrocious.
It's no, all right, fine. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but right now there's 7.7 million people reproduce whatever. So there's a lot of Jewish people who have ever lived in Israel, right? You're saying that it shouldn't exist because you can relocate them to the safe parts, which
Not
are
what I'm
mostly,
arguing. Holy shit, this is
what are you arguing?
I never even claimed anything about relocation. I
Okay,
claim
well, then what'd you
specifically
say?
that ethno states shouldn't exist.
I get that, but then you said, "Oh my God, you conceded that Israel doesn't have to exist because there are some safe spots for Jews." So then, where are those safe spots?
Yeah,
Explain to
because
me that.
your whole argument here is that I'm anti-Semitic because I think that ethno states shouldn't exist. So I'm
No,
essentially
yeah,
trying to
because
get you
Israel
to
shouldn't
concede
exist.
that you think ethno states shouldn't exist.
Yes, and I think they're not obviously like nothing is 100% necessary. In a perfect world, there would be safe spots in America and other countries around the world that save for Jewish people, so you wouldn't need an ethno state to exist. But unfortunately, that isn't the reality of the country of the world because people are just not nice. So I don't know. You can't prove me wrong on that. I
People
don't
are
think
just
so.
not nice, which means there needs to be an ethno state within Israel. That's your argument.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
that's exactly true. What do you?
I don't
What's so
accept
funny
that as an
about that?
argument. I don't accept there being not nice people in the world as an
So
argument
do
to
you
establish an
acknowledge
ethno
that
state.
anti-Semitism isn't nice? Do you acknowledge that anti-Semitism isn't nice?
Of course.
Okay, so then
Do
people are
do we agree on
anti-Semitic, so
what
then people aren't
anti-Semitism
nice.
is? No. You think I'm anti-Semitic?
I think anti-Semitism is the discrimination against Jewish people, and you're discriminating against them because you're
How?
saying they don't deserve self-determination.
And I'm saying that there doesn't deserve to be an ethno state. How is that
Yeah,
discriminating against you?
self-determination.
So listen,
Self-determination.
how is
Because
it?
without the ethno state,
How
there'd be
am
no
I? Please
self-determination.
let me finish speaking.
I
How
was
is
speaking.
it discrimination against Jewish people for me to literally
What is
say,
wrong with being a Zionist? What are these people in the comments saying?
if you can't shut the fuck up and let me speak, I'm going to kick you? Genuinely, shut the fuck up and listen. Okay? It is not anti-Semitic for me to say that you can't have an ethno state. If I have to keep explaining to you to this, I'm gonna kick you. It's a waste of my time.
Why?
Okay? Because you are fucking stupid. If you actually legitimately believe, no, go fuck yourself. You think I'm anti-Semitic simply for just saying that an ethno state shouldn't exist, and for saying that you're a fucked up individual for saying that. Okay?
But yeah,
That is so ridiculous.
When did I ever call you fucked up? I just said you were
I
anti-Semitic.
called you fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's fucked up to believe in ethno states. I think that's fucked up. Now, this doesn't make me an anti-Semitic person because I think an ethno state shouldn't exist.
Yeah, because then you're discriminating against Jewish people.
How
by
is that
saying they don't-
discriminating against Jewish people?
I just explained.
You're
because
literally
you s-
arguing for the discrimination
Bill,
against other
oh my
people and the supremacy of Jewish people within the context of
Why
a
are you
state. And
crashing
you're
out?
arguing that's me being against that is discrimination against Jewish people on my
Discrimination
behalf?
against the self-determination of Jewish people. They deserve
How?
self-determination.
You can have self-determination without establishing a Jewish ethno state.
No, because they're not the majority in any other state, so they wouldn't have self-determination.
Wait. So do Jewish people have self-determination in America?
What is the definition of self-determination?
That's what actually you need to define right now. Define, because I'm not sure what you mean when you say that. Because this is your own definition. I need to be clear on what you're saying. What is
To
self-determination
make choices
to
for
you?
yourself and take control of your own life without outside pressure. That's what it says.
You can do that in America, right?
Without outside pressure, I'm not sure.
I'm just kicking you. You're such a waste of time to talk to. Like,
Why?
genuinely. You don't think you can live in America? Are you fucking serious, dude?
No, you can live in America, but you still haven't debunked why that's not a good reason.
Okay,
to
so
support
you
Trump.
agree you can
just
live in
start getting
America?
mad. Of course, you can live in America. It's probably
So why were you not... Okay, so you do have self-determination here.
yeah, but you wouldn't have self-determination in any of the other Middle
So
Eastern Muslim
can
countries.
I have a concession? You do have self-determination here, correct?
Yes.
So you can have self-determination in a state in which is not a Jewish ethno state. Do you agree?
Yes. But
So
it's
how
not
is
possible.
me being against a Jewish ethno state me being against Jewish self-determination?
Because you can't realistically.
Am I against
relocate
your
all the-
self-determination?
What?
Am I against your self-determination?
No, let me
So
explain. You can't realistically relocate all the people in Israel to America. That's not how it
that's not
works.
what I
And
said. I never
okay,
argued that once.
okay, I got it. But then you're still not debunking why the state of Israel shouldn't exist, and I still
It
haven't come
shouldn't
to that
exist
point.
as an ethno-state. That's what I'm saying. Do you not hear
Okay,
my
but I've
arguments?
already can I explain to you? I already explained to you that if it wasn't an ethno state, all the Jews would be in hell. How do you not understand that? It's not that difficult to understand, and you're just shaking your head and acting like you're right. You're not.
All the
What?
Jews would be in hell if it is the case that there wasn't an
They are
ethno-state.
surrounded by
No.
Muslims that want them dead. What?
Okay, so you just want to fearmonger against people who are Muslim.
Because no,
Again, wait,
because
no, hold
the
your argument.
Iranian, the
Your
Iranian,
argument. So
the Iranian leader has said denied.
you know that Iran didn't start this war; that it was the U.S. and Israel, right?
I know, but the Iranian leader
Oh, so
has
can you explain
denied
to
the existence
me?
of the
Can you
Holocaust. So
explain
how
to
is
me?
he not?
Holy shit, dude! Oh my
I'm just
god!
what?
What what is the fucking relevance? I disagree. I think it's
Because
horrible
I'm
that they
trying to
think
prove
that.
to you that the people surrounding Israel hate the Jews. Most the leaders,
Does
at
that then
least.
listen? Does that then justify, right, a Jewish ethno-state? No, it does not, because you can have
Because if it wasn't an
self-determined.
ethno state,
Wait,
they
let me
would
just clarify.
die.
Let me just clarify. Okay, because you're trying to call me anti-Semitic for this. Let me go through the argument. I want you to fully actually listen. You said I'm against Jewish self-determination, correct? That's what you said. That's what you said.
You're discriminating against the self-determination that Jewish people have in it.
Can you answer my questions directly?
Did you just mute me again? I just unmuted
Yes.
myself.
If you won't answer my questions, I will mute you until
But
you
I
answer
am.
them.
Wait, what did
So
you say?
what is the answer to my question?
Can you repeat your question?
Are you fucking serious?
What?
You didn't listen?
No, I did. It was something about, wait, can you repeat it? Because I was answering and then you lost your train of thought.
You said that I am against Jewish self-determination, correct?
Yes, in Israel, yes.
Okay. So, do you think that the right to self-determination is the same as a right to own an ethno-state? Or do you think that those things are two separate things?
Do you acknowledge that people in Israel have self-determination? More than pretty much any other country for Jewish people.
No.
How?
I see no reason to distinct that from the U.S. So, I would like to hear an actual argument.
Okay, other than the U.S. and Israel, any other countries?
Oh, there's plenty of other countries I could say that's applicable in. Bunch of
That they
European
have
countries as
more
well.
self-determination in those countries than Israel? How does that make
Well, I
sense?
mean, I have no argument to say that it's worse off in those countries comparative to Israel.
Yeah, but you don't have any to say it's better. So, like, it's
Okay,
pretty,
but
it's easier.
so then it's indifferent until I have an argument to say one way or the other.
Okay, but then we're not getting
So
anywhere.
what is the
So
question that I asked you?
you asked me, can you repeat it? I forget.
Holy shit. Okay, stop
You
asking
just-
me. How about this? Stop asking me questions. Answer mine only. Okay, is that okay? Can we do
But
that
I
for
wanna
now?
also
So
ask
we can
you,
just
'cause
get
it's a
through this
debate.
point?
It's a debate.
Sir, can we do that so we can get through this point?
Yeah.
Okay. You think that I believe that Jewish people should not have the right to self-determination, correct?
No. What? No. I think you're against self-determination in Israel, but not in America. And not in other countries, because they do have self-determination in other countries. But
so then
my
I'm
point was
not
in Israel,
anti-Semitic.
it's strong. No, in Israel, it's strong, pretty much strongest, or one of the strongest for
So
self-determination.
I'm not anti-Semitic.
I mean, I wouldn't say you're like fully anti-Semitic, but that you're leading down a path.
So
of
I'm just
anti-Semitism.
partially anti-Semitic?
You can be partially anti-Semitic. You're
Okay.
down a path
How
of
am I partially
anti-Semitism.
anti-Semitic?
Because you're discriminating against the self-determination of Jews in Israel. That's
How?
partially anti-Semitic. Because you don't believe in the state of Israel, and then if there wasn't the state of Israel, then they wouldn't have self-determination there because it's the Middle East and there's Muslims, and they wouldn't have anything.
Can a country of Israel exist without being an ethno-state?
I've already answered the question. It wouldn't be the same state because the Middle Easterns around there are Muslim, and especially in higher up Muslim,
Why can't you prevent harm against Jewish people if it's not an ethno-state? Like you can still have
they would be
legal
outnumbered.
systems.
The police
You
would be
can still have
Muslim
legal
too.
systems
What?
to prevent this. You can still have a military that would exist there that can protect people and defend people in
you think
situations in which
that-
they'd be attacked. You can have all of that even without there being an ethno-state. Your argument is not necessitating an ethno-state. It's simply just a distraction from the idea that it's immoral to have an ethno-state, and you're trying to use that distraction in order to try to justify your argument for why you think that it's justified for there to be an ethno-state, and why you think it's actually fucking anti-Semitic for me to just disagree with that existence of an ethno-state.
Do do you not understand how do you disagree with the fact that if there wasn't an ethno state, then the Middle Easterns around there would be Muslim and they would come into Israel and they would not like the Jews? Do you agree with that?
No.
How? Well, if no one in the chat or anything can see how this is just ridiculous, like how? The Muslims come into Israel and they don't like the Jews. How do you disagree with that? What?
You can prevent individuals from coming into the country given that they have those particular bigoted views without
How would you
actually
ever be able to
preventing
tell that?
without actually having an ethno state. Did you know that? Did you
How
know
would
that
you
there are
ever be able
people
to
who
do
are
that?
did you know that there are people who are Muslim and there are people who are Arab that aren't anti-Semitic?
I know, I don't deny that, but a lot of the higher up leaders in these countries, like
Okay,
Iran, who
so
denied
then
the
let me
existence of the
clarify.
Holocaust and who is
Is it
openly
possible for you
anti-Semitic.
to establish a process of immigration that would include a vetting process that prevents individuals from coming to the country if they want to go and murder Jewish people?
Yes, now if that could
Okay,
happen,
so
I would
if you
100%
have some
accept
sort of
that.
prevention mechanism within that context,
Now we're getting somewhere. See,
if you have some sort of
like
prevention
leaders.
mechanism within that context, then how could you say that you need an ethno state?
Because in reality, that's not going to happen.
So you're saying the state of Israel couldn't establish a law like that?
It would be very difficult to because
Why?
they would
Why
just be
so?
outnumbered.
What do you mean
They would just be
outnumbered
outnumbered.
within their own government?
Yeah, because just imagine how many Muslims are surrounding them. And
No, we're
imagine how
talking
many
about
there are.
within the Israeli government right now.
Okay.
You don't think you could get most of the Israeli government to support this?
So how would you suspect that they would be able to screen if they hate Jews? Like what? I don't get that.
Don't they already do that for people who come into the country?
I have no idea, but I don't know how that would be, like how they would do that. Like how do you actually do that? You can't screen for like someone's beliefs. You can just put on a fake face when you're doing the interview or whatever, and you just get in the country and then you go kill the Jews. It's not that difficult to do.
Okay, so then you're saying that Israel should have zero immigration and zero tourism.
No, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, right now, like you can visit the country if you're like
That's
not
true.
like
So then couldn't people visit and then
no,
just
you can have
unalive Jewish
tourism.
people?
Sure, you can have tourism.
Couldn't people
There
just
already is
visit and then
tourism in
unalive?
Israel.
Couldn't people just visit and then unalive Jewish people?
Yes, but again, if you're letting people into the country to live versus tourist is a big difference.
How so?
That's like saying, oh, letting everyone into the country through immigration
so?
in
How
America
so?
versus letting
Wait,
people
actually, like
visit the
how
country.
so?
Because when you visit the country, usually you aren't like armed off the bat because you have to travel there and you have to go through screening and stuff. So when you come in, you're not going to be armed. You're not going to have anything that could hurt Jewish people. And then once you're there, sure, if you're really, really evil, then you can get something and kill a Jewish person. But that's the exact same thing in any country
I
with
don't see
any
how
tourism.
like you preventing people from immigrating to Israel who are not Jewish is somehow going to prevent, right, the protection of Jewish people in the area.
Well, because if you're not Jewish around there, then you're Muslim, and the Muslims have a much
Not
higher
true. You
percentage
could be
of hating
you could be
Jews.
Christian or you could be
Okay, but
atheist or
more
agnostic.
likely than not, you're Muslim, and if you're Muslim, then there's a higher chance you hate the Jews than a Jewish person. That's normal
Okay,
logic
I'm
and
just
basic
I
logic.
don't think this is a good conversation. I think you're a waste of time to talk to, right? You haven't brought up a
That's not
single thing
nice.
that is actually like beneficial to this
You,
country,
Parker,
right? In
I
terms
came
of
on
like,
your
can you just be
live.
quiet for a second,
Okay.
please? You haven't brought up a single thing that would be beneficial to this country. You didn't talk about any of the policies. We've spent the last 50 minutes or so right now talking about a foreign country and about how you think I'm fucking anti-Semitic for disagreeing with an ethno-state existing, right? And how I think that we shouldn't be involved with funding a foreign country's forever wars so that they can continue to do whatever incursion they have in the Middle East so that they can fucking annex other areas, right, in that particular region. It's a waste of my fucking time to talk about. This does not
Parker,
make you, as a Jewish American, safer in this country to defend whatever the state of Israel is doing. It, actively speaking, makes
I never
Jewish
defended
Americans
that.
less safe in this country to support all the actions of the state of Israel. And the U.S. divesting from Israel would be the best possible thing for Jewish Americans in this country. Have a good day. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates. Alter, thank you so much for the galaxy. Thank you very much. Yotsup, how old are you? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates, everybody. Alyssa, thank you so much for the hand art. Thank you.
Yo,
Yotsup, how
what's
old
up,
are you?
Parker? I'm 18.
Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
What's your birth year?
2007.
Okay, and what month?
May.
And
May
what was
5th.
it? May 5th. And you said 2007? You said
Mhm.
you're 18?
What?
You said you're 18?
Yes, sir.
Nice math. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request again if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates, everybody.
Going on, Parker?
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 19 years old, 2006, June 15th. I turn 20 next month.
Okay, and do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay, if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay, for sure. I have a few people to think, then we can move on to our conversation. Just give me a quick second, real quick. Bianca, thank you so much for the purchase of the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, yes, that's very true. That's very true. Hopefully you can get that done very quickly. Megan, thank you so much for the $1. Carolyn, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Kyle, thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate it. Can we get some W's for Kyle in the comment section right now? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Let me catch up as well. Jessica, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you very much on PayPal. I appreciate it, Jessica. Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, there were really frustrating guests yesterday. It was a bit brutal. Brandy, thank you for the $50 on PayPal. Thank you so much. I definitely will. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Brandy. Thank you. Kelly, thank you for the $5. Tori, thank you so much for the $3. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And I don't know, honestly, to be honest with you. Angelica, thank you so much for the $1 as well. Noel, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Thank you. As well as Derek, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate
Okay.
some W's for Derek in the comment section. Zach, thank you for the $20. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Zach. Can we get the W's for Zach in the comment section for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
DJ,
Zach.
thank you so... What are you saying?
WDJ? WDJ?
Okay. DJ, thank you so much for the $100. Thank you very much on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. Give me some W's for DJ in the comment section right now. And for the $50. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That is incredibly kind of you, DJ. Thank you so much for the $150. That is absolutely crazy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely so kind of them. Seriously, W's for them in the comment section right now. I think I'm fully caught up right now, actually. If you do want to support me, as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. So as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Alrighty. Kai, why do you support Trump?
Yeah, but before we start this,
Where's the galaxy?
debate here, can you tell your fan base to, stop following me and rating my comments? Because I debated Dean not too long ago, and they were rating my comments like crazy. So I was just asking, can you tell you guys to chill out? But let's get the reason why I would vote for Trump is just border rise. To be quite honest, I moderately support Trump, not fully 100%, but I moderately support him just because of the border. I think we should have a stricter border, Parker. So I think that's a good thing, Parker.
Okay. So, if, for example, he tried to prevent the, or if there was a particular candidate that tried to prevent a border security bill, for example, during a border crisis, would you say that's a reason to not support them?
It's a reason to not really like that person. Yeah, Parker.
Okay, so then, you would say that, that's not a reason in of itself to stop supporting them, right?
Not much, because just by hearing one thing, you have to go into depth research, and then you can finally catch up to your conclusion and say, this is kind of bad. I wouldn't want to support this person. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so then you couldn't say that about Democrats then. That's a reason to not support Democrats.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Like them not doing a border security bill during the context of a border crisis. Like if they
so
tried
they
to
didn't-
prevent that at all, right, during a
They
border
try to
crisis,
prevent that, Parker?
would that be a reason to stop supporting them?
Yeah, Parker, probably. Just by hearing that, but you have to go into depth research before you
Okay, so
reach your
so
conclusion. Yeah,
Donald
you can't
Trump
just be so quick like that,
undermining a
Parker.
bipartisan border bill during what he deemed to be a border crisis, would that be a reason to stop supporting him?
To stop liking him, Parker. That's what I think. That's what I said. To stop liking him, Parker. But I can say, Parker. The reason why, I can say what I'm gonna say right now, is that just by hearing, one thing, Parker, you have to go into research, Parker, and you can't just.
So the next person, only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18.
Hello.
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hmm? Can you hear me?
They sound young. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
21.
Do you support Trump?
I do support Trump.
What's your birth year?
July 2004.
Okay, and if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump, 100%.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
I support Trump for a couple of his great policies. Something I hold dearly is athletics, both women and men. And I had a younger sister, and she played sports, and she went to state, and she played against a transgender. She played track, and she got second place, and a man beat her. So that is one thing that I'm very passionate about. I like that policy because I think it's disgusting and it's just unfair for the women. So, what do you think about that?
I
Honestly,
think
I don't know your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think trans people, after multiple years of HRT and or not going through a male puberty, have no particular unfair biological advantages that would make it so it's unfair for them to play. I think that these determinations are determined by local sports organizations, not by the federal government. I think that has nothing to do with our federal politics or what we're talking about in terms of who we support for president of the United States. And I think that that's something that should only have to do with local sports organizations. So I don't know why you'd come up on the live stream and talk about this. If you care about women or girls being protected, I don't know why you'd support a predator for president.
I don't think Trump is a predator. I think he's a great man. I don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can ask me a question.
If he went up to your sister when she was 10 years old and he said he'd be dating her in 10 years, would you still vote for him?
Did he ever do that?
I'm just curious. If he did that, would you stop supporting him?
It'd be pretty strange, but I don't know. I think his policies are much better. Like,
So you'd still
I'm a
vote for him?
fan of. Um, yes.
Yeah. Wow. So you'd still vote for him if he went up to your 10-year-old
Well, that's
sister
not necessarily.
and said he'd be dating her in 10 years?
It is a weird comment. It is a weird comment, but it's not. And I wanna talk
think?
with you about a couple other things that I like, and another thing is Israel. I'm a big fan of Israel, and
Can we
I
address
think
what I'm saying right now first?
it is a weird comment. Okay.
Yeah, the fact that like you would still vote for him even though he said to your sister that he'd be dating her in 10 years. What about if she was changing in the changing rooms at one of his pageants when she was 15 years old and Donald Trump barged in while she was changing? Would you still vote for him?
Well, what did he do when he barged in? What if he thought it was his son or something in there? I don't know. Like,
No, he
that's
he
kind
goes into these areas knowing who's in these areas to be able to get away with it.
If Trump is actually a pedophile, I would not support him. People are saying in the chat.
How about I
dude,
just play these clips for you? I think you need to hear these clips. Maybe that would be helpful.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
let's play these first. This is the first clip that I talked about, and then I'll play the second clip I talked about.
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
It is a weird comment, but like still, that he's not like a predator for doing that.
Well,
saying
I
that.
definitely think that that's him sexualizing a kid. By the way, this is not to mention the fact that he also admitted to engaging in sexual exploitation. Listen to this.
So you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
I mean, but again, that's like he said he owns the place. Like, have you ever seen like movies? The people in the back rooms of the strip club. They're playing cards and they got women all over them because it's technically it's their club. I don't know. That's not.
Okay, so if your daughter or sister was in a pageant, you'd be okay with the older guy who's like 50, 60 years old barging into the changing room that she's changing in while she's changing to look at her while she's changing?
Yeah, but why are we talking about that? Let's talk about his policies.
Can we we'll talk about that in a second. Can we address this first?
Okay, it's pretty strange, yeah. I would.
No, but I'm
yes,
asking,
I mean,
like, do you think that like an owner of a pageant should be able to do that?
Hey, what is a pageant? Can you just kind of explain that to me?
No.
Okay. Well, if it's like a strip club.
You know what a pageant is. It's not a strip club. It's a fucking kids pageant. We're talking about Miss Teen USA. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Talking about teenagers.
No, I mean,
You
no,
don't know what a beauty
don't think
pageant
that
is?
would be-
Like, I, the fact that I need to explain that, I just genuinely can't fathom that you don't know what that is. What do you mean, strip club, bro?
Yeah, man, I didn't know what it was. Just calm down. It's okay.
You don't know what a beauty pageant is.
Well, you know, you say it now, beauty pageant. Yes, I guess I have heard of that, but
Okay.
no, I was kind of confused on pageant, so no.
I'm sorry. I guess I would have expected, any typical person to know what a beauty pageant is.
Okay, well,
But I apologize. I
fine.
guess maybe you didn't know.
no, I did not know. That's why I asked. But I think Trump is a great president. I think, like I said, Israel is a great thing, and Benjamin Netanyahu is a good guy, and he's an innocent. People
You're trolling.
go at. No, I'm not, dude.
You're
I don't know why
trolling.
people think I'm trolling.
Because you said
I'm
Benjamin
not.
Netanyahu is a good guy in order to pivot and deflect away from what we just talked about. Do you have every worst possible view?
No, I don't. What can you name me one thing how Benjamin Netanyahu's claimed such a bad guy?
He's a war criminal. The ICC and the ICJ have an arrest warrant out for the guy.
You're also anti-Semitic, dude. You hate Israel,
This
Israelis.
is you trolling.
No, I'm not. This is genuine.
Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. What's up, how old are you?
19.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
I think I'd have to choose Trump.
And what's your birth year?
2006.
Okay. And why do you support Trump?
I support him because of his immigration policies.
Okay.
With,
What
like,
about
the
his
border and
immigration
stuff.
policies?
So he was putting like the hammer down and like reinforcing, like keeping illegal aliens coming in.
Okay. So mass deportation policy. Can you name one
Yeah.
measurable way in which his mass deportation has benefited you since he got back into office?
So my nana from Thailand, she immigrated here back about 30 years ago, and she did it legally, and like seeing all these other people get in for free and sneak in, I just like don't like that.
So what am I gonna get a response or?
Well, it's like how do I word this? My neolibertarian flag.
That's what I thought. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We're just looking for debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yo, 31.
Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Election held today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
I vote Trump 10 times over, bro.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
So I have an eclectic position. So I think Trump is like a necessary episode in the long arc of, I guess, America. Like internationally, I support him kind of re-cementing American hegemony, and then I think his domestic policies are really good.
Okay, so like what domestic policies and how is he establishing American hegemony?
You want me to start with the hegemony or domestic first?
Domestic.
His stance on immigration and on the border, his stance on the economy. Let me just think. Him kind of putting those Supreme Court justices in play, them kind of overturning Roe v. Wade was really big for me.
Okay, can you name one economic metric that he's made better off since he got back in office?
I think the tariffs were really good. I think the tariffs were a really good idea. I don't know. I think GDP, if you look at the metrics, we've been going in the right direction.
So tariffs aren't an economic metric? Tariffs are
No,
like a policy that he wants to implement. So I'm
right,
asking,
right,
can you name an economic metric that
right. I
he's
said
made better
GDP
off
though.
since
I
Trump
said the
got in
tariff.
office?
I was generally speaking about economic policy. I said like the GDP is we've been going in the right trajectory for a good little minute. A little
Did
minute.
you know that GDP growth is lower right now than what it was at the end of Biden's administration?
Yeah, but we're kind of still reeling from the Biden administration, the effects of it.
So we have
So
lower levels of growth now than the end of Biden's administration. So
you're
that's
right,
not
because it just
because of
ended.
Biden.
It just ended a year ago, right?
What's
That's
up?
how it works. It just ended a year ago.
What ended a year ago?
The Biden administration. He just got inaugurated. We've been in office for like a year.
It's been a year and 4 months now, and Donald Trump has made things worse off since then.
Right.
GDP
So
growth is worse off. Real median wage growth is worse off. Inflation is worse off. Unemployment's worse off. Job growth is worse
yeah,
off.
but
Real
that's not.
domestic
They're not worse
manufacturing
off. They're
investment
not
is
worse
worse
off.
off.
Hold on. They're not worse off because of the economic policies. They're worse off because like what's going on
They're worse
internationally.
off because of his war with Iran and because of the tariff
Exactly.
policy,
Exactly.
which he
So it's
started.
those are two
And he's
different things.
continuing to this day. You know, the
Brother,
U.S.
those are two
launched
different things,
strikes
though,
into
right?
southern Iran today.
Those are two different things, though, right?
What do you mean?
Domestic economic policies, tariffs,
Hey,
and then
Bubba,
the
can you
war
stop
with
eating in
Iran.
the mic?
Sorry, my bad. No, no.
You were saying what, though?
The domestic policies he made is not what's affecting the economy. It's the war in Iran,
It's
which
but
I don't.
that's also something he caused that led to conditions being
Yeah,
worse.
no, I
But
agree
by the
with
way,
that. I
I
agree
just want
with
to
that.
clarify. Most of these conditions were worse off even before the war with Iran started.
What conditions specifically? Like what metric?
Real GDP growth, real median wage growth, unemployment, job growth, real domestic manufacturing
Yeah,
investment,
no, job growth was actually. Hold on, I'll pull stuff up, but
and a Federal Reserve report came out and said that we'd be below pre-pandemic levels of inflation right now if Donald Trump never imposed tariffs in the first place.
yeah, but I think tariffs are necessary. I think we were getting.
They're not.
We had trade imbalances all over the world, bro. Stop.
That's
it.
fine.
That's not fine.
Yes, it is.
So people should be able to just walk over and just
That's not walking over us. That means that literally all it means is that we are buying more products from their countries than they're buying from us. That's all it means. And that could be because their country is
Right.
smaller.
We need to
They
sell
have less
products as well, right?
population. That could be because we demand a lot of stuff from their specific country.
Okay,
And
so
are you
China
saying that you want to
specifically.
restrict Americans from being able to buy those products?
No, I don't want to restrict.
What happened to the
Americans from buying
freedom of
products.
being a red-blooded American?
Yeah, I don't want to restrict Americans to buy those products, right? But trade imbalances, yeah, that's not a good thing. Like, well, we need to sell products as well as buy products, right? That's fair,
Okay, we can sell products, but
that's fair trade,
in
right?
order to be able to do that, we need to increase domestic manufacturing investment. And
Which
you know,
I
that's
agree, which he
declined
wants to
every
do,
single
right?
quarter.
Doesn't he
That
want?
has declined every single quarter of
Doesn't
Trump's administration so far, and it massively
doesn't
increased
he
under the
want to
Biden-Harris
increase?
administration.
Isn't his goal to increase American manufacturing?
And he's failed.
Hasn't
We've
he
seen
taken the step?
declines in real domestic manufacturing investment
Hasn't
every
he
single
taken the
quarter of Trump's
steps? Hasn't
administration
he
so far.
taken the steps? Hasn't he taken the steps to bring manufacturing back to the United States? Yes or no?
No.
No. So now you're being disingenuous.
No,
He
I mean,
has.
he might have thought that there were steps to bring back, but he hasn't taken the steps to because it hasn't happened at all.
It's not an easy thing. You don't do it in 1 year. It's a process.
We've seen declines in real domestic manufacturing investment every quarter of his administration so far.
That's not
So whatever he's
true.
doing,
Some
it's
of the
working
top
in the
Ameri-
other way than what he's expecting.
That's not true, bro. Some of the top American corporations, because of Trump, are trying to bring American manufacturing back to the United
Okay.
States.
Do you want to bet? I bet you that U.S. manufacturing investment is lower right now
I'm
than
not
what
gonna
it was
bet.
the end of Biden's administration. Do you want to bet?
I'm not gonna make a bet, bro.
Of course you won't,
We're having a debate. It's not a bet.
because
We can gamble.
you're objectively wrong.
Objectively wrong on what?
That you said that they're bringing back manufacturing investment to the country. You're wrong, bud.
Okay, so let me look it up right now.
Yeah, you want to see?
Yeah.
You see this right here? Right here? This is when Trump gets in office. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, this is when Biden was in office. Boom, 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 boom. Trump gets in office. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, but that's like a short-term dip.
That's a short-term dip.
Yeah, bro. He's just been in office for
It's
a
just
year.
a short-term dip, everybody. Look at this.
It's a short-term dip, dude.
Short-term dip. Biden didn't need to do it, but Trump does. It's necessary, okay? Trump needs to do it. It needs to go down, everybody. Look at this. It didn't need to go down under Biden, but it needed to go down under Trump. I promise you. Trump, it needs to go down, but Biden, it can
So
go
you
up.
think everything is just continuous growth, like exponential
If
growth?
Biden's in office, apparently it's just
What are
not
you talking
necessary for it to go down anymore, you know? It can go up.
Biden is the economic guru, right?
Biden's better for the economy than Trump. How does it make you feel?
He's not. So he was better in
Look
his
at
first
this.
term?
Absolutely.
Stop it, bro.
I mean, can you name one economic metric that Trump's made better off since he got in office? I'm waiting.
Economic metric.
Oof.
Like I said, it takes time for this stuff to come into play. There's a lot going on.
You got nothing here.
Yeah, no, I'm still looking up this other stuff from what you just brought up that you disagree with.
Okay.
I'm doing two
And are you
things
going to
at
provide
once.
that?
Yeah, hold on.
We're waiting.
It's coming.
And for the people spamming my TikTok chat, please stop. I will block you. Like, I don't know what is wrong with you. Why do you spam my chat like that? It's so weird.
So data shows a mixed picture. Investments have boosted, yes. Factory construction is happening. So yeah, I was correct. He did.
It was actually bots, by the way. Those people who are spamming that. You lost 1K views over him chewing or whatever. Like, it is weird that he's chewing, but this guy.
Yeah, my bad.
Those were bots.
You caught me off guard. I was chewing. My bad.
That's
My
okay.
bad on that. But yeah, no, it does says tax reform is incentivizing reshoring, massive investments, 13 billion production capabilities. Early data shows slight rebound in 2026 with modern gains in manufacturing jobs, but this has not yet offset the job loss earlier in the administration. So that's what you're seeing right there. That's why you're seeing the mixed picture, the mixed bag.
By the way, for the people in the chat, there were obviously real people making comments, but there were other comments that were spamming, like in caps stuff. That's what I was talking about, not other people that were saying that. But yeah, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, no, I'm saying when I'm looking up right now, it's saying it's like the mixed bag. So it's saying the surge in new plant construction and capital investments, but it's ongoing. So it's basically ongoing. Which all this stuff takes time. Like, we're not China. We don't have the same capability to just put up.
So I proved you wrong.
factories like-
Real domestic manufacturing investments declined every single quarter of Trump's administration. He hasn't made any economic metric better off since he got in office, and you're just coping, my guy.
I'm Coco. That wasn't wait. My point was he's brought back American manufacturing. You said it's declined. That's not negating my point. Like, it's ongoing process. It's happening.
So if
He's doing the
investment has
work.
declined every single quarter of his administration, he hasn't brought it back, then how could you say he's bringing back domestic manufacturing?
So okay, so are there any results? Is anything happening?
No.
All right, that's just delusional.
You tell me, what are the results?
I literally just read about it, right?
Okay. Yeah, and
So he has-
none of that demonstrated that overall investment has increased.
That wasn't my point.
Okay, so what was your point?
My point is he's bringing back American manufacturing.
How do you bring
in a
back
lot.
American manufacturing without bringing back
Factories are
investment?
getting built. Investments are happening.
Okay, at
Google
lower
just-
rates.
Google did like
at
a
lower levels.
multi-billion-dollar
Investments are
investment,
happening.
bro.
Dude, investments
Google
are
just-
happening
or-
at
or-
lower
was
levels.
it Alphabet or Google just did like a multi-billion-dollar investment? Oh, let me look it up.
Yeah, that's one company doing one investment. That's not evidence
It's
of
huge
an
company.
overall.
It's an
That is not
ultra
evidence of an
conglomerate, bro.
overall
What the-
increase in the economy's investment and manufacturing.
Like, bro, this is disingenuous.
How is it disingenuous for me to say that your information there
Alphabet
is
is-
hyper
how
specific
big
to
of a
one
company- how big of a
individual
company is-
company, and it's
how
not
big of a
referencing
company is
the
Alphabet?
entirety of the market as a whole? After I
How
just
big of a
provided
company
you,
is Alphabet?
please
How
listen,
big of a
please,
company is
please
Alphabet?
listen, please listen. After I just provided you evidence of the overall market seeing lower levels of investment.
That doesn't mean it's not happening. So you didn't negate my
Yes, it
point. You
does.
didn't.
I've proved you wrong.
That's not proving me wrong.
It is objectively proving you wrong.
You're talking about quality. I'm talking about quantity.
What do you mean?
You're
I'm giving
saying
you a
you're
source
saying
from the
noth-
Bureau
you're
of
saying
Economic
nothing is-
Analysis.
You're saying nothing is happening.
I'm
That's
telling
your
you, the
point.
Bureau of Economic Analysis data indicates there's lower levels of investment in manufacturing.
Does that mean investment has stopped?
It means investment has declined. The level of
Okay, so
investment.
there's still investment happening, right?
Yes, but at lower levels than at the end of Biden's administration.
Okay, so it's work. There's friction, right? He's working.
We've seen declines. Like, that's in the wrong direction. That's not in the right direction.
So you prove me wrong.
Yes.
All right. Can we move to the next point?
Like, this is actually you just coping, because you can literally look at the Bureau of Economic Analysis
don't think you
information
understand how debates
that
work,
proves
bro.
you wrong. Like, I literally showed you on screen, and you're just denying it.
I just don't think you understand how debates work. You're saying you negated my point. That's not
I don't
negating my
understand how
point.
debates work.
Yes.
Really?
You're talking
That's your
about
argument
you're talking
here?
about the quality of the action. I'm talking about the action actually happened.
What do you mean the
You're saying
quality
it
of
did-
the action?
You're,
I'm
you're saying
talking
the
about
action
the
didn't happen. You're
impact
talking
or
about
the
the decline
outcome.
in.
I'm
you're
talking about the
decline
output.
in
Can you
investment.
tell? What are the outputs that are positive? You tell me.
Investment is happening. Factories are
At
being
lower
built.
levels.
It takes time.
At lower levels than what they were. It didn't take time under
Okay.
Biden's administration. Why was it able to
Okay,
increase
wait,
under
okay.
Biden?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask
Tell
you
me
this.
this. Tell me this. Why was it increasing under Biden? Look,
Can I ask you this question before?
why was it
before-
increasing under Biden the entire time?
I can look into that. Can I ask you this question? Can I ask you a question?
Go
Yes or
ahead.
no? Like, all right. So, if something is happening, right? Investments are still happening. Factories are being built, right? You said investment decline. I agree. You showed the chart. Investments decline. Does that mean it's all done? Like nothing is going to happen? Nothing is going to be successful?
No, it means that Trump's policies aren't leading to more investment being brought back to this country for manufacturing, like he said it's going to do. Because why? Because the increase in the cost of domestic manufacturing because of the tariffs then led to a decrease in the incentive to manufacture within our country.
I think so. I kind of okay. So on that point, I kind of agree with you, right? I think when it comes to like the tariffs plus what he was trying to do domestically, I think he put the cart before the horse. I think he really wanted to stamp out that tariff issue to kind of trade imbalances, and then he was trying to do he was trying to get some of these foreign companies to kind of build corporations over here or factories over here, as well as bring back American manufacturing. So he was doing two things at once.
And he failed.
He's in the story is like he has 3 more years.
He's
What are you talking
utterly
about?
failed.
Bro, he has 3 more years. What do you mean he's failed?
It would have
Factories are being built.
already started to happen. It has not.
This is all right. What's the next point?
You should acknowledge that. Any point you want to address, because any point you bring up, you're gonna see a reason to stop supporting Trump. So try. Give me anything.
All
Give me
right.
your best point.
You want to go on domestic or you want to go international? What do you want to talk about?
I already talked about domestic, and you already lost on that. So pick whatever you're best at.
Okay, so re-cementing American hegemony.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I think the move in Venezuela, the move in Cuba, I think they're really, really good strategic moves. I think the Monroe 2.0 is a good foreign policy. You disagree?
Oh yeah, I think that what he's doing with Cuba is horrible. It's leading to human rights abuses and humanitarian crisis within Cuba, where they are having constant power outages. I think that's horrible. For Venezuela, all they did was get rid of Maduro. That's it. The same regime is in office, so that's it. Like I don't.
Okay.
What are you saying that they've changed really?
So like it's also an ongoing process, right? We're still year 1 basically.
Yeah, everything's ongoing. We haven't achieved anything. Everything's just ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, you're critiquing like the first year. Like it's fair to critique
Year and a
it,
half,
but it's like
almost.
it's a continuous process,
Because
right?
he's made things worse off.
All right.
I'm
So
criticizing him for things that he's done.
with the your first kind of critique is like a moral critique. I'm not coming from a moral perspective. I'm looking from like a realpolitik perspective. Like strategically,
Oh, so you
getting
don't
rid of
care about
these-
morals at all, or it's not a
no, it's
consideration
just
that you
it's
have
kind
in
of
your
like
argument?
you can compartmentalize, right?
What is that supposed to mean? Here,
Okay, so if you're the president of the United States and you have an enemy, right? Would you kill him or unalive him? Excuse me. I know it's TikTok.
Wait, is that all you're gonna say? You have an enemy, you
No, it's a
kill them?
question. I'm just asking the question.
No,
It's a
not in
question.
all
I'll pose the question.
circumstances do you kill enemy.
All right. So, what circumstances do you get rid of your enemies, or how do you do it? How do you go about it? Let's say you got
It could be
a dictatorial
diplomatic, it could
regime.
be economic, it could be there are countless things.
Right. Okay. So you got multiple ways you can do it. Right. Sanctions, embargoes,
I'm not,
diplomacy.
and I would say that when it comes to Iran, for example, we already established through diplomacy a nuclear deal, the JCPOA, and that prevented them from getting nukes. Now, if we want to talk about Cuba and Venezuela, like again, what we've done with Cuba and Venezuela hasn't led to better conditions. I would say, especially with Cuba, it's led to worse off conditions, a humanitarian crisis within Cuba.
Yeah, I agree.
What are
It
you
is a
to say about
crisis.
that? What do you to say about that? How do you feel about the fact that the Trump administration actively caused a humanitarian crisis currently within Cuba?
I think it's necessary.
How?
I think it's necessary to get that communist regime out of there and then get a new regime in there.
Okay, so
That's
you want
American.
regime change
That's
within
American.
Cuba.
Absolutely.
Do you support
American
military
aligned.
boots on the ground?
If need be, yeah.
Okay. So would you say that for any country in the context of South America or around the world?
I mean, it depends the circumstances. Right now, we got like CIA operations happening in South America. Like a lot of cartel leaders are being assassinated.
Okay. And do you think that the U.S. should be going around and literally playing world police?
Absolutely, 100%. Because we're
Okay.
the global hegemon. We're the global hegemon.
So instead of
That's our
focusing on
responsibility. That's our
domestic
duty.
issues and on ensuring that people have health care, childcare, housing affordability, right, and basic access to things that they need, we should be instead be trying to play world sheriff,
I think
even
you have
though
to do both.
that's leading to domestically ignoring our needs, and it's
I
also
think,
leading to worse off conditions diplomatically with countries all around the world.
yeah, I think when you're the global hegemon, you have to do both. I mean, every empire has had to do both. All right, like you've had to have you have to secure your trade routes. You have to have your client states. You have to have your domestic
Do you think
issues
that trade
handled.
routes are more secure right now or under Biden's administration?
Mm, I think Biden had bad foreign policy. I think the Afghanistan withdrawal was terrible.
I'm waiting to hear a
And
response to what I said. Are trade routes more secured under Trump or under Biden?
it depends what trade routes you're talking about.
Well, can you just say
Asia,
in
in
general?
Asia,
Could you say in general?
yeah, I would say in general, I would say the bad area is obviously the Middle East. Clearly, I think that's the choke point.
That's not the question I asked you.
Yeah, I say yes, and I clarified it. So yes, in general, but I say the choke point is
Yes,
clearly Iran.
I'm asking you Biden or Trump,
Trump.
and you're
Clearly,
saying
dude.
yes. Like what the fuck is the response? So Trump? You think Trump is better?
Yes,
You think Trump is better
yes.
off for what?
Foreign policy. Clearly,
No, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you
you
who.
said, "Are the trade routes more secure under Biden or Trump?" And I said, "Trump."
Okay,
That's
so
foreign
you think the
policy.
trade routes are more secure right now when the Strait of
Yes,
Hormuz is closed? 20% of
the Strait
global
of
oil
Hormuz
supply
is a
goes
choke
through.
point.
You don't even know
Right?
what the
It's a
fuck you're
strategic.
talking about.
What
How can you say
the
that
fuck
trade
you?
routes are more secure right now when the fucking Strait of Hormuz is closed?
It's
Like that
not
is
the only
genuinely the most
trade route.
insanely crazy thing to fucking say ever, dude.
It's not crazy.
It
So
is
you know that
crazy
the
to say.
global trade is a thing. That's one point. It's a critical point. Yes, that's where the stress to the global economic system is happening. But it's also strategic, right? The attacks on Iran are strategic.
Okay, so you say these attacks are strategic. You're not giving an argument for why, and you're also not addressing the
Well,
point that I'm making.
Iran, we were
You're
focused.
also not addressing the point that I'm making in terms of trade routes, where specifically you're ignoring the fact that, again, the largest fucking trade route for oil in the world is closed under the Trump administration that was not closed under the Biden administration. So your whole argument here is stupid. And also, it's only strategic to literally attack Iran because Trump pulled out of the agreement that Obama set up and literally had a blunder in terms of foreign policy.
Okay, so do you think? Okay, so because I heard your earlier Israel Iran conversation or Palestine conversation in general. Do you think the Iranians were enriching uranium, or do you think they weren't? Like, what's your position on that?
Since the JCPOA was undermined by Donald Trump, they then started building up their nuclear program. It was struck under Trump's administration under Operation Midnight Hammer, And since then, they have not built up their nuclear program.
So do you think they weren't enriching it when they made that deal with the Obama?
Under the JCPOA, they were not enriching uranium past the 3.67%.
So okay. Intelligence reports say otherwise. You disagree with the intelligence reports?
Intelligence reports say that they were staying at the 3.67% level of enrichment. You're lying.
Who's intelligence reports?
U.S. intelligence. And from the IAEA.
So
And it was even
Israel's-
signed off on by Trump.
So were Israel's intelligence reports off, or what? Like,
Israeli intelligence reports didn't even indicate that during the JCPOA that that Iran was building up their enrichment of uranium past the 3.67% level. So none of the intelligence indicates that. I don't know where you're getting that from. And also, we wouldn't prioritize Israeli intelligence over U.S. intelligence.
our allies, our literal allies? What do you mean?
Well, one, I don't think Israel should be an ally, and two, I don't think that their intelligence is always accurate.
Well, that's another. Okay, so two
I can
things.
give an explicit example with Lebanon, right, where specifically, what's called under the Biden administration, Netanyahu and Israel came to him and said that they were going to be attacked and that we should do a preemptive strike against Hezbollah, and then that never even happened, and the intelligence was completely wrong. So there are countless examples where Israeli intelligence will not be the most preferable thing to act upon.
Okay, so do you understand that American intelligence is also always not accurate? Like, there's a lot of mistakes that happen.
Sure.
So this is like I say that not to say that we're wrong or they're better or they're whatever. I say that to say that within the realm of intelligence, that's like a consistent thing. Good intelligence, bad intelligence.
I understand, but I would definitely prioritize
I
U.S.
just- I just want us to be on the same
U.S.
page.
intelligence is preferable in terms of being accurate
No, I agree.
compared to
I
Israeli
agree.
intelligence.
I think trust but verify as well. Ourselves. But
Okay,
also
so
rely on
can you
allies,
address the
'cause
point that
why
I
would-
made, that none of this intelligence indicates what you're saying?
That's what I'm looking at right now, just double checking you. If that's incorrect, I'll concede. That's not what I remember. So I'm just double checking it right now.
Okay, while you do that, I'll thank some people in the meantime. Jessica, again, thank you for the $15. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Absolutely, they absolutely are. Thank you so much, of course. I really appreciate Jessica. As well as Fussy, thank you so much for the $7. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it totally was. It totally was. Thank you so much. Peter, thank you for the $35. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. They said, can we remind them that the Trump fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because of how bad the jobs report was? That's also true. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the $35 on Venmo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's again for Peter in the comment section right now. Yeah, the next report was even worse, too. Yeah, I totally remember that with the revision. But yeah, I appreciate you very much. Appreciate you very much. I think I am fully caught up. Again, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen to help get it out to more people. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat as always. Did you find what you're looking for?
Yeah, just trying to make sure I look it up correctly.
Alrighty,
So
for
it
sure.
says
Mercedes, think of the galaxy.
intelligence immunity. Iran had halted. JCPO was finalized. Agency estimated it would need about 12 months to acquire sufficient weapons grade. Fissile
Yeah,
material.
you have to look up under
I'm
the
just-
JCPOA. Look
yeah,
up,
no, I'm
did
just-
Iran
I-
violate the JCPOA? And it will tell you there's no evidence at all that Iran violated the JCPOA.
All right, I'll read. Let me check it out.
Okay. In the meantime, everyone, again, if you're on TikTok, tap that screen. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, everyone. We're about an hour and 30 minutes or so into the debates today, meaning we have another 2.5 hours or so on the debates. If you're on YouTube, again, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Okay, all right. Should I try to add up another person while you're looking that up? I think maybe.
Absolutely. Am I gonna stay up or you move me down? How does that work?
Oh, you can stay up here. I'll just bring up another person while you're doing so.
For sure.
Only send a guest request again if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18, everybody. We are just looking for debates, everyone. We are just looking for debates. Okay, let's get this next person up here, everybody. Again, only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18, everybody. Alrighty, let's go to this next individual.
2016, 19, nuclear enrichment restrictions. However,
Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 20.
Do you support Trump?
Do you support Biden?
Can you answer my question?
I do.
Okay, if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
I'd say Trump, but if
What's
it
your
would have
birth
been
year?
Biden, definitely would have been Biden.
What? You would vote for Biden over Trump, but you wouldn't vote for Harris over Trump.
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because Biden has experience in the office, and I didn't think he did too bad of a job with his last run.
Would you have
Just as
voted for
any
Hillary
compliment.
Clinton over Trump?
No, I think Trump
She had
was
plenty of
the choice there.
experience.
But I liked Barack's.
And by the way,
run.
so did Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has been a senator. She's been a district attorney. She's been an attorney general. She's been vice president of the United States. She's objectively had more experience than Trump.
But Trump did win the election back in 2016.
Again, not a justification for why he would have more experience than Harris even. And two, you're not even considering the fact that, again, if your consideration is experience, then you would support also Hillary Clinton over Trump, which I doubt you do.
I don't.
Okay. So it just sounds like the reason why you're against Kamala Harris is because she's a woman.
No, it's because her neo-libertarian.
Okay, let's go to the next person.
Yeah,
Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18.
yeah, no. So I'm looking at the U.S. side of things is confirming what you said. CIA maintained that they did maintain levels, but the caveat is they only needed 12 months apparently to actually have a nuke.
Not from the 3.67% level.
This is what it's saying, bro. I'm just telling you.
Nope.
What I'm looking up.
You're thinking of now.
No, I'm thinking it's
And
this.
that's
It's saying, like,
just
in the
estimates, which have not been
2016
correct.
to the 2018 period, right? What is shit?
No, they never said that they
JCPOA.
were a month away. Or
12 months. I
You
said
said
12
months away?
not-
A year
yes,
away?
12. Yes.
I don't even believe that.
You don't believe that based
I
on
don't
what,
believe
though?
that 3.67%
That's
enrichment
American
is a year
intelligence.
away.
That's American intelligence. And then the Israelis
What's
said
the
that,
source?
Hold on, I'll post the source. Oh, I can't post it. But
Just tell me the title.
all right, hold on, click it. Let me scroll back up.
Okay, in the meantime, everyone, again, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, everybody. As always. Alrighty. Let me try to get another person up to help him out in the meantime while he's looking that stuff up real quick. Give us one quick second. Only send a guest request again if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Again, everyone, we are just looking for debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hello, can I'm 18, but I do have a medical.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just immediately kicked them. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 24.
Do you support Trump?
I would never vote for a Democrat.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
I would not vote for Harris. I'm a Kennedy fan, so I guess I'd vote for Trump. Just Kennedy's in the office, but I wouldn't vote for Harris ever. If that's good enough for you.
Why do you support Trump?
Well, it would have to do with on the question of Kamala versus Trump. Like, I wouldn't vote for Kamala just because I thought that the previous administration was really, really bad, and she did not articulate the concerns I had for the last administration. She thought it was good.
Okay. So, like, what was so bad about the last administration that's so much worse than the current administration?
Yeah, well, this administration has not been the greatest either. I'm not going to defend it that well, but I didn't like the domestic policy a lot of the Biden-Harris administration.
Such as?
I didn't like the Inflation Reduction Act.
What about it?
That much. Well, I don't like big government investment bills. Like the Inflation Reduction Act, it allocated like, what, $700 billion towards renewable energy investment. Maybe you could inform me who
It was
received this
deficit
money.
reducing.
Well, who received
It was for
700
building up
billion
energy,
dollars?
renewable energy production within the country.
Yeah. So do you know like what companies received it? How many companies
It was
received it?
diversified, a bunch of different countries, or not countries, companies. The fact that you would ask me to name them, I think, is the most ridiculous thing ever. I think that if you were to know anything about the funding, you would know that it's a bunch of different companies.
I do
and that
know
no
about
one's
the
going to know
funding.
them off the top of their head.
And if you do look at the funding, half of it is tax subsidies, which would by and large benefit the largest corporations in the renewable energy sector. It would, and the other half would be grants, which would also highly or disproportionately benefit the mega corporations within the renewable energy sector. So my main complaint with the Inflation Reduction Act, or this investment or this hundreds of billions of dollars investment into this sector, is that the government gets to decide, it gets to handpick a few large corporations and gives them free government handouts in the name of some social justice that the Democrats seem to support in the current administration.
Do you believe in climate change?
Oh yeah, no. In principle, I support renewable energy. What I have the critique of is the way the government goes around giving hundreds of billions of dollars
Hey,
of
I
taxpayer
don't want
money
you
to
to
a select few.
assume a bunch of
corporations.
questions and just say things that you think you're responding
Okay,
to.
well,
I would love
who
direct
received the money?
answers to
You
my
could tell
simple
me.
questions.
Who? Well, I do believe in climate change, and
Okay.
yeah, I do in
So
principle believe in investing in
I just
renewable
needed
energies.
that simple response.
Okay,
You
go
do
ahead.
believe in
Yeah, go ahead.
climate change. You think
Yeah.
that climate change is an issue that we need to address, correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
How ought we address it?
I think that there is plenty of evidence to suggest that renewable energy forms will become cheaper and more productive at producing energy than oil mines were. So without government intervention, I see free markets choosing renewable energies in the long run.
Well, what's your source for this? That it's going to happen really quick without any type of government intervention?
Well, if you look at the way solar panels have accelerated in terms of the way they convert the energy from the sun into electricity over the past 20 years, it's almost exponential in the
Really?
rate that they're converting it.
And do you think maybe over the past 20 years there could be governmental investment or policies that could have led to that?
Sure, but my complaint is the Inflation Reduction Act, which was the most recent
Which does
one,
those types of
independent
investments.
of that. And
So
you
if
haven't
you do
answered my
believe in making
question of
investments
which
to be
companies
able to
received
then
this.
address the renewable energy production within the country, well then inevitably this is what it is. This is the largest investment we've ever seen. Okay,
I don't see
if you
any
care about things
evidence
disproportionately, can you please listen to what I'm saying? If you care about things disproportionately helping the rich and wealthy, then you're going to have a massive issue with Donald Trump's presidency because his policies disproportionately help the rich and wealthy at the expense of working class people because of his tariff policy and his big beautiful bill. That's his main economic policy. Right, the Inflation Reduction Act, although specifically does disproportionately help the very rich companies within the context of the Inflation Reduction
Handpicked by the
Act,
government.
it also very much helps out smaller companies and it builds up an entire industry, right, within the context of renewable energy production, which is relevant towards us being able to address the future needs for our population in terms of energy, to become more energy independent, right, to reduce the cost of energy, which then becomes more economically productive and it leads to more economic growth.
Well, I appreciate you acknowledging that the investment into the renewable energy sector likely does benefit a small number of already large corporations in the renewable energy sector.
Oh, it's not a small
And you're
number.
saying that investment will lead to further growth in the economy, right? Like
So
it'll
the
benefit
only thing
working
I'm
class
saying is that the
Americans.
disproportionate is because of the fact that like a larger company will fulfill more orders than a smaller company will fulfill. Therefore, they will get more money. That's the notion
Sure.
that we're addressing.
Yeah, but that's a result of any large government spending bill, which is
No,
what
that's
I'm
the
against.
result of the
I
fact
don't
that
want.
larger companies provide more than smaller companies when it comes to plenty of different things when you're building up
Yeah.
infrastructure.
I agree. So then when the government passes a large spending bill to say, I'm going to give hundreds of billions of tax dollars of handouts to a corporation of this industry, only the large ones will largely benefit to that.
It's not only,
Right, we agree on
right?
that.
Within the context of the
Well,
bill, it's
largely,
also meant
they will
to
largely
create
be the beneficiaries.
it's meant to create a
Mainly.
diverse industry, okay? And if you
Yeah,
care,
yeah,
if you
it would
care about
mainly like
if you
80-20 maybe.
Do you care about it disproportionately helping the rich? Like, is that really a concern for you?
Yes, it is, and it's
Okay,
it's
so then how do you
because
feel
like
about Trump's policies disproportionately helping the rich?
well, I don't like Trump policies, like I said before, and my issue is that a lot of the
That's kind
mainstream
of like
media will critique Trump policies on the exact thing that you're talking about.
I
I've
don't
never
support Trump
heard of my
policies.
critique
Who are
on the
you
Biden
arguing for right
policies.
now, sir?
I'm arguing against the domestic policy that Democrats try to promote.
And
I'm
you're
just never going to
arguing.
vote for
Do you think
Democrats.
Trump is
That's sort
better?
of what I'm voting for. Well, yeah, Trump would agree with me in what I'm saying about the Inflation Reduction Act.
No, he thinks that
Do you agree with me?
he thinks climate change is a hoax. So no, he would not agree with you because you think climate change is a hoax. Or you don't think it's a hoax.
I never said that. I never said climate change is a hoax.
Yeah, I meant to say that you didn't think so. So charitable.
in regard to like the big corporations benefiting. That's kind of like both sides, bro. To be fair.
I totally agree. It's both sides, but only one political party really takes blame for this, and it's the Republicans. The Democrats never have to talk about how their policy absolutely only benefits the rich class and the corporations. It's absolutely all the Democrats' policy does.
Most of our
benefit.
policies
You can go
help
through
out
every
the
single
working
domestic
class
policy
people.
the Biden administration passed. It will absolutely only benefit the upper middle class.
You're just lying. Because the tax policy they supported ensures tax breaks for the lowest income Americans. The Medicaid is applicable to the lowest income Americans. Food stamps is applicable to the lowest income Americans. That disproportionately helps out poor Americans. Okay, so we can actually point to policies.
I can make the same case for a bunch of...
Can you please shut the fuck up and listen? We can actually point to policies that Democrats support that actively disproportionately
No tax
help.
on tips. No tax
Holy
on
shit,
overtime,
shut the fuck up.
Trump savings account.
That's within the big beautiful bill that mostly goes to the rich. Now, again...
Okay, well, that's what the Inflation Reduction Act does.
Okay, do you want me to kick you? Shut the fuck up. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Do you hear me speaking?
I do, yeah.
So then why are you cutting me off?
Well, because you're like stating lies that I have to like.
I'm not
I just
stating
want
lies.
an honest
And if you
conversation.
think I'm lying, how about you write it down? Get a notepad.
All right, you're right. I should do that, and I apologize.
Thank you very much. Okay?
Yeah, so go ahead and
did
finish
you
your
hear
point, go
anything I said?
Well, yeah, I was responding to the point.
Okay. What did you hear that I said?
Well, you said that when I brought up the provisions in the big beautiful bill that disproportionately benefit poor people, you said that those are just provisions in the big beautiful bill. The large majority of the big beautiful bill benefits the rich. And then I said that's the exact same thing for the Inflation Reduction Act. So you must have the same critique for that act, right?
It's not
and then
true
you
for
yelled-
every single one of these policies. And also, by the way, you don't have that same thing for the Inflation Reduction Act. Actually, can I have a specific study that you have that indicates that most of the money within the bill, overall, as a proportion, went to the richest companies?
No, it's actually very hard to track how that money is spent because the government is not very transparent on, which is why I wanted to ask you. And you called me stupid for not knowing.
Inflation Reduction
But
Act
if you
has
look
the
at
most
how the
unprecedented
provisions are given
levels.
out, just like you're an economics major, if you look how the provisions are given out, you would know that the companies who have the most wealth in the specific industry would benefit for a policy like this. It's just how basic economics works. I'm sure you'd agree with me.
No. There needs to be an empirical basis for that.
So what? Okay. Wait.
That's an empirical claim, sir. You need to have empirical evidence for the empirical claim.
So are you saying that the handouts given in the bill do not disproportionately benefit larger corporations because I can't provide you with the exact numbers on how every single dollar was spent?
I'm asking you for
in the bill?
evidence that that's true. I don't have reason to believe that to be true
Yeah,
unless I have. I don't have reason to believe that to be true unless I have evidence of that being true.
Sure. So about half of the allocations were given in some form of tax breaks, right? For example, if you're a company in this sector, you're giving revenue. I don't know the specific tax breaks. Forgive me. But if you're paying taxes in this industry, the most beneficiaries of the tax breaks are going to be the ones who are paying the most taxes, which would be the biggest corporations in the industry. And then the other half of the allocations would be grants. Why would the government, or the government is most incentivized to give grants to already established large corporations because they have the most infrastructure, they have the most wealth, they have the most proven ability to actually act on the grants that they're given. So it just makes the most economic sense to me that the allocations prescribed in the bill would largely benefit large corporations. But I am open to being proven wrong. Like genuinely, I am trying to find
I'm on the
answers
same
for
side
this
as you, but I
because
do
it's
think
very
you.
it's hard to find how the government spends money on these bills.
I'm on the same side as you, but I do think you should empirically support it. But side question, Parker. What school of economic?
Can I address this before you butt into the conversation? Just give me 1 sec. There's a few things I want to address here. One, you obviously do need to judge this based on having evidence. Two, you also need to consider that any of the spending that the bills that the Democrats are doing, say it disproportionately helps the rich, the funding mechanisms still disproportionately come from the rich. Okay? Whereas the Republicans' policies, where did the funding come from? Disproportionately negatively impacting lower and middle income individuals by imposing tariffs.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by how it comes from rich people on the Democrat side?
Yes, like the tax policy, the progressive tax structure that they advocate for disproportionately comes from the rich and wealthy. Kamala Harris herself and Joe Biden only wanted to increase taxes on income over $400,000 a year and wanted to decrease income tax and taxes for income lower than that. Sorry.
Okay, so my complaint is specifically the Inflation Reduction Act, and it has to do with the investment that is going to be given to like a very hand selected by the government. How did that the Inflation Reduction Act? How did that? I don't think it was deficit reducing.
It is deficit reducing according to the Congressional Budget Office.
Can you run like an updated? When
How significantly was it reduced?
I just gave you a source, sir. Congressional Budget Office.
Yeah, and when was that? I did research like literally today on it, and
look up Inflation Reduction Act. CBO report indicates it's deficit reducing.
In 2022, it was.
How much did Biden increase the deficit?
Reported to be deficit reducing
by $4 trillion less than Trump.
Right, so it's still increasing on both sides.
Yeah, but the Inflation Reduction Act was deficit reducing, meaning it didn't add to that number; it actually decreased that number.
So again, my complaint has always been that hundreds of billions of dollars are being handed out as per the Inflation Reduction Act to, you can tell me what the corporations were. I don't care if it's deficit reducing, Parker. That's not my complaint.
Now he doesn't care. Interesting.
When did I ever mention that my complaint of this bill is that it was going to increase the deficit? It's always been that it's free government handouts to government-picked corporations in a specific sector that the government deems deserves this hard-earned taxpayer
to fight climate change. How else do you fight climate change, sir?
Like I said,
you just leave it up to the free market.
Plenty of evidence to suggest.
No, there's not. I asked you for what's that evidence?
You should look up how solar panel.
Don't just tell me to look it up. Tell me what's your source.
Okay, well, I would need some time to
go ahead. I'll give you time. I have another guest on the stream. Take your time.
Yeah, you really want me to go?
What did you say?
Really? That's what you want me to do.
Yeah,
I wanted you to find me a source on who's receiving the money in the IRA, and you don't want to do that. So
what? You didn't even ask for that until now, after I already have asked you for a source. Also,
I apologize. It's a genuine question. I want to know how this money is being spent.
It's so dishonest that you won't look this up.
I want to know how this money is being spent.
Sir, I'm giving you time to go look up your own claim. Are you just lazy?
I've been asking it literally the entire time. Like who is receiving the money in the IRA? That's what was my first complaint. It literally is. Like it was.
No,
that was my only complaint.
Sir, you were making a claim.
You're trying to say I'm complaining about these other things.
You were making a claim, and I asked you for a source. I'm not the one who made a claim on the proportions. I asked you for the evidence of your own claim, and then now you're trying to shift the burden.
Oh, I'm trying to shift the burden.
Yes, you are.
You're the one who's saying it's deficit reducing when that
I
was
provided
not
a source for that. I provided a source for that, sir. The Congressional Budget Office.
That wasn't a complaint I had, though.
Yeah, that wasn't his complaint.
You're shifting the burden.
You're not understanding, but I made a claim, and when I made a claim, I justified it. Okay?
Okay, but that claim doesn't negate the
please listen to what I'm saying. If you make a claim, you've got to justify it. It's not that complicated. Provide a source for what you're saying.
I think that's fair. He should provide a source for sure.
Okay, all right. Let me go look up the solar panel thing real quick.
But you also did shift it though, because that wasn't his
It's
critique.
wait, the solar panel thing. What do you mean the solar panel thing?
Okay, have you been listening to the evidence?
What did I
I've been saying
ask
at
you
all?
for? What evidence did I say that you should look up?
You wanted me to suggest evidence to say that renewable energy did not need government intervention because the technology was improving at a rate that it would outpace
by itself without
oil.
government intervention. That it was going to operate at a manner in which it would produce this, where we wouldn't even need to intervene at all. So yeah, I'd love to see that source.
That wasn't my claim. That wasn't my claim. That wasn't my claim.
So
That was never my claim.
So
Parker.
then
Don't give me
you
that
do
look. That was never my
agree.
claim. You're not listening to me.
So then you do agree that we need to intervene in the market.
Not the Inflation Reduction Act. That was bad policy. The Inflation Reduction Act.
I'm not hearing a response. Do we need to intervene in the market?
Not right now. No, we do not need to anymore.
Okay,
And the Inflation
so-
Reduction Act wasn't overstepped on it.
In what regard do we
Okay.
need,
So
we
you're
need to
saying
intervene?
before the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, we did need to intervene.
I mean, I think research in the renewable energy sector as a whole was a good idea. We don't need it anymore. We've gotten there's been so much research out there. I mean,
Do you want me to kick you? Like, if you can't answer direct questions, we're gonna sit here perpetually.
how did I
having
not
you
answer you directly
questions.
there? How did I not answer you directly?
What was my question?
Your question was, do you think we need to invest in renewable energies? And I said, yes, we did. But the Inflation Reduction Act was an overstep of that. We did not need it.
So prior to the
Is that correct? Did I directly answer your question?
No, I said prior to the Inflation Reduction Act.
And I said yes. Yes.
You now have
That's
said
what
that.
I've been saying.
So
Well, I've
please-
said that the whole time.
Okay. Do I need to mute you every single time I speak? It's unbelievable. You are literally incapable of just like letting me run down a dialogue tree. Okay. Like holy shit. Okay.
You're right. Sorry. Go. I apologize.
Thank you. Okay. So like it's literally just getting me like off track like constantly, and I'm not even able to like constantly go over things because I'm constantly trying to be like, okay, let's redirect back to what we were talking about. Okay. All right. I'm simply asking you for evidence for your claims because you're the one making claims that it is this way. Okay. If you make a claim, you ought to justify it with a claim. Okay. I am simply just saying, right, that there is a need to address or intervene in the market. If there's a need to address or intervene within the market, that means that we're going to be investing into companies. So your criticism of the Inflation Reduction Act can't just be that it invested into companies to build up energy production. Okay? And then also you have to consider that if you do think that there was a need to intervene, Trump doesn't think that there's a need to intervene, doesn't even believe in climate change. Even if you do think that we overspent with the IRA, which I don't think that we did, it would still be preferable to the no spending at all and the complete getting rid of it that Donald Trump advocated for because he thinks that climate change is a hoax. Now you may speak.
Okay. So can you show me the evidence that suggests at the time the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, we needed $750 billion to be invested in the renewable energy sector?
And I want to add on top, Trump is quote unquote intervening in the market. His investments.
I'll let you join the conversation in a second. So the argument for why we need renewable energy investment
Evidence.
specifically, by the way, that's not a claim, an empirical claim that would need that. It was just like, why do we need to respond to climate change? Is that what your question is?
Well, no.
Or why do we need that level of it? Because the argument doesn't need to be that we need that specific
Can I
level.
restate my question?
Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah, I'm just seeking justification as to why at the specific time the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, why we needed this much money being invested into renewable energy. That's the specific question.
Well, I would say that these are investments that will get us closer to being renewable energy as the dominant factor. I'm not arguing for the specific amount, just arguing
Okay, so what's
for
the evidence that it was required?
Can I please finish? I'm just arguing that it's needed to address this in the
You don't
first
have
place. Can I please finish without you cutting me off? Holy shit, dude. Like, it's actually ridiculous.
Just
Just
want
chill.
evidence. I don't want you to explain
Can you chill?
it.
Can you chill? Can you
I really
chill?
want you to explain it, though. I'm just
Can
asking
you
for
can you
evidence.
lower your cortisol levels?
Yeah, sure.
Can you have some self-control?
Yeah.
I just need to argue that there is a need to address it, not what specific level it needs to be addressed. Because
Okay,
the
so
argument
can I?
between-
Okay, sorry.
Wow, self-control is needed. Because the argument is between Trump, who doesn't think that there should be any, versus Harris, who does think that there should be some. So the argument doesn't need to be how much do we. The argument could be how much do we if we were having an argument between Democrats of like, oh, what specific level do you want in terms of addressing this? How much do you think you need? Then it would be relevant to argue for the specific amounts. But in this case, we're just arguing whether we need it or don't need it. Maybe you could argue that like the cost of it could have some sort of negative impact on us, but it seems like you can't do that here because it's deficit reducing. So go ahead and try.
Okay, so you can't provide evidence to suggest that we needed it at this time the Inflation Reduction Act is passed. I just want to be clear that there's no evidence you have to support that. You're just arguing and believing you think we should have done it.
Oh, I have evidence that we need to address climate change.
At the time the Inflation Reduction Act was passed,
Yes.
in 2022, we needed $750 billion invested in the
Are you
renewable
again
energy
trying to
sector.
pigeonhole me into arguing for the specific amount, or that we need to address it in the first place?
I just
Which
want to
one?
hear again, my original complaint was when the Inflation Reduction Act was passed, we spent hundreds of billions of dollars in the renewable energy sector. I've done research into this sector. I don't think we needed to invest it this heavily at this time. I really think this was a lobby bill to give government handouts to a bunch of rich billionaires in the sector. And I want to be proven wrong. Why did we need it at this specific time?
Okay, these are not handouts to billionaires. These are diversified investments across an entirety of like a
Yeah,
renewable
who's
energy.
receiving them?
Holy
Name the
shit!
company.
Shut
Just
the
like
fuck
10,
up.
10 maximum.
Okay, do you want to get kicked? Like actually, dude,
I
it's
want to answer
every
to my
time
question.
It is every time I speak. Every single time I speak, you constantly do this. If you want to have a conversation with me, I would love to do that. But what you're doing right now is not a conversation. Can you admit that?
I'm sorry if you feel I'm cutting you off. I apologize.
If I feel you're cutting me off?
I apologize. I'm sorry, Parker.
No, what do you mean if I feel that you're cutting me off? That was what was happening, right?
I don't know. I just feel like I make a statement and then you kind of like disregard what I say, and then I feel obligated to step in and like redirect it to the sort of topic I was trying to discuss with you. So that's why I keep bumping it.
Can we reset? Can we just?
What did I
reset this?
disregard?
The evidence that we needed to pass the Inflation Reduction Act at this specific time. That was one of them. And the other one was who received this money. You could say you don't know. And it was likely a very select handful of companies the government picked. That's probably what it was. But yeah, those are the 2 points you want to acknowledge.
So I have acknowledged this. I've acknowledged it was incredibly diversified in terms of the amount of companies that it invested to.
Name them.
Invested into.
Name the companies.
You want me to name all of the companies?
Yep.
That's a dishonest thing to argue. Like the list is
Well, you
like
can't.
literally.
The point, you know you can't. Because you have no
Off the
idea
top
what
of
you're
my head,
you
yeah,
have
I
no
off the
i-
top of my head, I
when
can't
you
name
say
all of
it's
the
a
companies.
diversified company, you have no idea that that's true. You
I
have no
do.
idea
I
it's
do.
true.
I have actually looked
Okay,
because I don't
perfect.
remember all the names of the companies, but it is absolutely diversified. What do you mean name
Go ahead.
all of the specific companies? Because that's like
Yeah, go
asking.
ahead. $750 billion
Let
that
me
better be
explain.
split
Let
apart.
me explain. Shut the fuck up. Let me explain. That's like asking when you're talking about the infrastructure bill. We invest in a bunch of different companies that are going to fulfill the specific needs in terms of infrastructure. Can you name all of them? Just because I can't name all of the specific companies that we invest in, it doesn't mean that there's not a diversified approach in terms
Okay,
of
name three.
addressing it.
Name one. And
Name
how
one
much
Tesla?
they received. How much they received.
It was 13% of the chargers were built by Tesla. So if 13% were built by Tesla, which is generally considered the largest company, that is going to mean that the rest is not fulfilled by the largest specific
Well, okay,
company.
wait. The
There's a bunch
13%
of
of
different diversified
chargers.
companies. If you want me to search this
Okay.
out, I'll give you a list if you're being that ridiculous.
Well, no. Well, I want to pin down the Tesla point you just brought up. So the 13% of like what allocation in the Inflation Reduction Act bill gave the 13%? Like what do you mean by 13% to chargers? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Yeah,
in terms of like
they
the IRA
fulfilled so
money.
far 13% of the charging units that needed to be built up in terms of chargers.
So was that money allocated by the IRA? How much money did the IRA allocate, and how much was given to Tesla, like for the specific charger things?
I would have to look back at it. I'm just telling you the percentage specifically that I remember Tesla was responsible for fulfilling in terms of an order. I don't remember the specific amount that they were given. I think it's within the millions.
I don't think, from my review of the IRA, I don't think there is a specific electric vehicle charger provision given
Yes, there is.
in the bill.
What? You don't think in
Well,
the
yes.
Inflation
Well,
Reduction
sorry,
Act
I
there's...
don't.
There's
Sorry,
investment
I'm
for electric.
just a genuine. You don't need to like be like, oh, you're so stupid. Just genuine. I don't remember if that was there.
Okay, well, it is.
That was. Oh, okay. And
It's
how much
there,
was
and
it?
it's
Maybe
also
I
in
can
the
Google it.
it's
Let me
also
Google
in
it.
the it's also in the infrastructure bill.
So it was in both. I'm talking about the
Yes.
IRA. I want to focus on the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah, I'm telling
That's
you, it was
what
in
I'm,
both.
that's my main complaint here is the IRA. So
Okay.
what should I Google here? How much money did the IRA allocate to electric vehicle chargers?
Yeah. And do you want me to give you a list of
Vehicle
different companies?
chargers.
So there's Toyota, SunPower, First Solar, Enphase Energy, Vestas, Orsted, Next Era Energy, Iberdrola, Brookfield. There's a bunch of different companies.
Okay, can you count how many that is? How many you see right there?
I just named off 9.
9. Okay, so you really think 9 companies are solely responsible for $750 billion?
No, I just
of
named
taxpayer
9.
money?
It's
So
not
you-
only those. I just
Okay.
named 9.
So do you think there's like 9,000? You think there's like 50? What's the thing here? Because if we're doing $750 billion, it should be at least in the tens of thousands, right? If you want to like allocate
I don't know
it,
the
if you wanna
specific number off
diversify
the top of my head
funds,
of how
right?
many companies, but yeah, there's probably thousands of companies.
But like, how many companies received 60% of the funding? Right? It's
None of them
probably
received 60%
very,
of the
very
funding.
small.
What is this?
Probably very, very small.
Why are we like
Based off of
ignoring everything that I'm bringing up in order to be able to try to establish that all the money was just given to the richest Americans through this? That's not true.
Well, yeah, the
that you
richest
have
companies.
established in terms of an
Because
argument.
you basically,
And hey, dude,
I'm assuming
every single time I speak, you've cut me off. Please shut the fuck up and have some self-control. Genuinely, shut the fuck up. You have the self-control of a literal 4-year-old. Genuinely, shut the fuck up.
good one.
How
Yeah,
many times do I need to tell you
insulting
this?
My character. Why don't you?
How many times? Genuinely, I've told you the same thing like 6 times in this conversation. Act like an adult. Be quiet. Have some self-control. Like, I'm genuinely trying to have a conversation with you, and it's every single time I speak that you cut me off, okay? Okay, these specific companies, there's a bunch of different companies. It's diversified in terms of the approach, okay? This is specifically something that you're just trying to say is, oh, it's just going to be the richest companies that are benefited through this. One, you don't have evidence for that. 2, you couldn't...
That's who you named. Those are the companies you named. You named them yourself.
Let me know when you've got out all your energy, because
Go ahead.
it's
Continue.
genuinely insufferable to have a conversation with you.
That's it. You just named like the 9 richest companies in the sector. That's who received the money.
I just named 9 when there's thousands, like over 1,000 companies that I could have mentioned, but I just named 9 of them because you wanted an example of a few, and I did so, and then now you're mad and you're like, oh, you should have named it, and you should have named all, you should have named all 1,000 actually. You should have named every single one of the EV companies.
Yeah, go ahead and mock me. Yeah, that's a good comeback. You're really critiquing my argument there. That's good.
Yeah, that
So,
says you.
Could you name more?
You didn't criticize my argument. You're not criticizing it at all.
I am. Well, you sort of like walked into the argument I was making, right? I asked you to name a list of companies. You can't name more.
Did I not
name
just
more
do
than
it?
20. You name 9.
Now I need to name more than
that proves
20?
my point that it's a small selection of
Are
companies.
you fucking serious?
Can you link
the
me to a
goalpost is
list
going to
of
move
thousands
forever.
of
I've got to
companies?
name 20 companies, over 20 companies, for this guy to believe that there's a bunch of different companies that this invested into. What are you talking about, dude?
Parker, I know you know economics. I know you know what I'm saying makes sense to you.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
What
doesn't make sense?
You're acting like in economics justifies your point? You're being dishonest.
This is basic economics. When you pass tax breaks, the corporations who pay the most taxes are going to benefit most for this. And there's very few corporations who pay like.
Wait, these aren't the mostly tax
they
rates.
pay
These
the
are
majority of
investments. These are
taxes.
direct investments.
That's the grant side, right? But half of it were
Yeah,
tax credits, and the other half was grant side. But
And also,
there's no
that's
evidence to
fine.
suggest
That's fine.
Government grants go disproportionately to large corporations in the sector. That's a historical fact.
You're being dishonest though. So there's a few things to take into consideration here with the overall bill. One is that the funding directly mostly comes from the rich. So even if the benefits of the bill do go mostly to the rich, because inevitably there's some objective or goal that we have that's going to be beneficial to all Americans, that still would be totally okay in alignment with specifically this, because it's most of the money comes from the rich. It's not like it's coming from lower and middle income Americans disproportionately, like Donald Trump's tariff policy is causing in the very first place.
Well, it's government spending, and And that is a good point, actually, that majority of taxes are paid by rich people. That is fair. But another complaint that I have is that the government gets to decide which companies get this. The government should not be
Yeah,
able
and
to
you've
play
said that
investor
7
and
times.
say, oh, this company gets $10 billion of taxpayer money. Oh, this company gets $100 billion of taxpayer money. The government, I don't believe, has any right to do that. And that is something that tariffs won't affect. That is something that specifically Democrat policies affect, because they're playing the, oh, I'll spend your money, well, taxpayers. Oh, I'll do it. Trust me.
Yeah, but that's consistent on both sides, to be fair.
So Trump,
Yeah, sure, but it's never really talked on the Democrat side.
oh my
like
God,
ever.
stop. Trump signed off on over $4 trillion more of debt-related spending.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you want to look at
I
the
agree.
overall spending and you think that the government doesn't have a right to spend money or to do it in that particular type of way for any of these things, even including tax credits, by the way, that would then mean that Trump did this to a greater extent, meaning you disagree with him.
Okay, wait. So can I ask you another question?
I want you to address that specific point, and then you can ask me whatever question you have.
That Trump also deficit spends like an idiot, like a Democrat. I don't support it at all.
Deficit spent
Yes.
to a greater extent.
Yeah,
Significantly greater extent.
but yes, I agree with you, and it's really bad. But my issue here is that
Don't pivot.
pretty much
Don't,
like
no,
the
stop.
mainstream media does a very good
Stop,
job.
dude. Stop.
Okay. Well,
Can you address
are you gonna
that
let me
point?
finish my point?
The reason why I brought this point up is because your whole argument is that you don't think the government has a right to choose where any money goes. Okay, so if one of them does it to a greater extent, you're going to disagree with that to a greater extent, correct?
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with it equally, but personally, my biggest complaint on this is the way the media frames this type of stuff. The things that I'm talking about with the IRA, I never hear about this in the media. Now I hear this constantly about the Trump administration, deficit spending, giving tax cuts to the rich, blah 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 blah. I'm just trying to bring like a rational middle ground that both sides do this, and the media is not telling you. The media is trying to tell you that it's only a Trump thing. The Democrats are here for you. They're not here for the rich guys. They're here to support the working class. The media is lying to you. That is the biggest complaint I have.
Okay. So again, your criticism is you don't think that the government has a right to determine where any spending goes. So if one of them does it to a greater extent, you're not going to disagree with it equally. You're going to disagree with it more on behalf of the person who did it to a greater extent. Do you agree?
Okay, so can we elaborate on how exactly Trump is taking taxpayer dollars and giving it to a specific sector that he deems necessary?
He signed off on more debt-related spending.
How did that answer my question in the slightest?
That means he's putting more of the taxpayer
What was the
dollars-
specific sector he chose was necessary?
Tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires through the context of the Big Beautiful Bill. That's a huge example of.
So there
some
wasn't a
of the things.
specific sector, right?
You understand that?
It's more just like a trickle-down economics theory type of thing.
It's a
specific
sector of the population in terms of income, in terms of wealth.
Well, economic sector, like the IRA attacked the renewable energy sector, right? So what sector is Trump saying that the government needs to spend money on?
You understand the very richest Americans.
He's saying he needs to spend money on the rich.
Yes, and also defense. He wants to do an.
He's not spending money on the rich though, right? He's just cutting their taxes.
He wants to increase
defense.
He wants to increase defense spending from one.
But do we agree on that? That he's not spending money on the rich.
He wants to increase defense spending.
I would say you say you agree with that. He's not giving money to the rich.
You're so dishonest. He's increasing defense spending from $1 trillion a year to $1.5 trillion. That's at least what he wants to do.
Biden increased defense spending every year he's in office.
You're not listening to me. You're just trying to respond. Okay? Like, I feel like at this point, like, it's very clear you're not actually trying to have a conversation with me. If you want to actually have a conversation, you can. I'm being incredibly nice to you. But you have shown me nothing but disrespect and utter disregard for any productive conversation on my stream the entire time. So you have one last shot. One fucking last shot. Okay? It is not complicated to have a productive conversation with me. It's not. I am trying very hard to do it with you. Okay, do you want to actually have a conversation, or do you want to constantly just deflect like this? This is embarrassing.
I do. I appreciate your effort. I do want to have a productive conversation with you.
Okay, so can you actually listen and try to engage with what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what did I last just say?
You sort of went on a few minute tantrum about how I've been listening to you.
Tantrum.
And yeah, sorry.
Maybe all you can say is that I said that you didn't listen to me. That's it. That's all you can say that I said. There's nothing else.
That was about the last 3 seconds of it. Yeah.
Can you name anything outside of that I just said?
You were saying that Donald Trump. I forgot. I was really
It
focused.
sounds like I was right. It sounds like I was right. When I said that you
Oh, yeah,
weren't listening, was I
on this
right?
one. I was listening to when you were
So
trying
I
to
was
make me
right
feel
about you
bad
not
about how I've been
listening.
treating you in this conversation.
So I was
And
right about you
I
not
did
listening.
listen. And that, well, I lost track. I lost my train of thought in our conversation because you were trying to make me feel
So
bad
was
about
I
how I've
right
been
about
treating
you not
myself.
listening?
No, I was listening before, and then like I said, you were trying to make me feel bad about how I've demonstrated myself. And yeah, I apologize. I forgot what you were saying. So let's continue the conversation if you'd like to, or I guess you can kick me if you want.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna address further of this. I'm gonna give you one last shot. This is literally all
Okay.
you have. Last shot. Okay. So with this bill, even if it did mostly go to the rich, which by the way has not been established by evidence yet, right? That still is mostly funded by the rich. Whereas what we see with Donald Trump's policies, he disproportionately took from the lower and middle income individuals because he imposed tariffs, which disproportionately impact the lowest income Americans. And he decided to spend his money, right, whether it be tax cuts or whatnot, on the richest Americans, and spend his money disproportionately helping the rich and wealthy, and he did more debt spending. You said all governmental spending necessarily is going to benefit the richest Americans. That's the argument that was provided. If that's true, then Trump, if he does so more, you're going
No,
to
I said.
disagree with that to a greater
That's not what I
extent.
said, though. That's not what I said. You're mischaracterizing my statement. I have to. I'm sorry, but you can't, like, sorry.
How so?
Because I said government investment bills that invest in specific sectors. That is what I'm complaining about.
Is that not what Donald Trump's doing when he gives tax breaks to specific sectors of the economy?
He's giving tax breaks to corporations. He is not spending taxpayer. Well, he is. The Stargate project is an example of which I disagree with, which is a parallel of the Chips and Science Act and the IRA, which I also disagree with, of government investing bills, where the government takes. Well, I mean, I don't need to go into it anymore. Do you understand what I mean when I say government investing bills? Like the Inflation Reduction Act.
Repeat your question again.
Do you understand my critique of the Inflation Reduction Act?
No.
Okay. Can I restate it?
No.
Okay.
Would you like to respond to any of the criticisms that I provided? I told you why I don't understand it. If you'd like to actually respond to the criticisms.
I do feel like it's a stretch to suggest that tariffs immediately have an impact on the consumers. That is up to the business. Absolutely, it's up to the business. The policy itself is just an import on taxes. I don't support his tariffs in the slight. Okay, I don't even know why I'm defending his tariffs.
Yeah. The Keelan
I
Institute
also don't
indicates it's
support
mostly
his
paid
tariffs.
by U.S. consumers.
Well, I actually, well, the literal tax is paid by the companies, and the companies aren't really transparent about how that's being passed on the tariffs. So we don't actually know that for sure. But his tariffs are unconstitutional. He should not be doing those tariffs. Absolutely agree with you. He should give refunds to the companies. Yeah, so I'm really here to debate why the domestic policy of Biden-Harris was horrible.
Yeah, I just gave you information from the Keelan Institute to indicate that it's mostly paid by the consumers. You can sit there and cope all you want. You can just say, "Oh, I don't believe that," but I just gave you a source. Unlike
Okay,
you,
the
like you
Keel
never give
Institute.
sources.
I'll look it up. Yeah, Keel
Okay.
Institute.
Yeah, you can take a look at that. If you want right policies to be targeted towards helping the average American and not towards the rich, let me ask you a question. Can you name one specific overall policy of Donald Trump's that benefits the average American more than benefits the rich?
Probably his COVID spending policies were good examples.
No tax on tips.
That largely only sent government handouts to people who weren't working during the time of the pandemic.
You said what again? Because the person who I did not ask just randomly said something in the middle of your statement, and I couldn't keep track of what you were saying.
He passed two COVID stimulus bills during the pandemic that largely gave money to people in lower income areas who needed it.
You think the COVID stimulus disproportionately helped the average American? Because the overall stimulus wasn't just that; it also gave disproportionately money to the richest corporations. Like those subsidy packages had mostly money that went to businesses, and bailed out the businesses.
You don't think that bill disproportionately helped the working class?
No.
Americans. Do you think the Biden stimulus package did?
I think his bill was more targeted towards doing that. Yeah. like the American Rescue Plan, was more targeted towards
Yes,
helping the average American than what we saw through the spending bills that the Trump administration did.
Wasn't it just extensions of already existing policies
No.
that Trump put in place? What were the differences he put in?
For
in the
example,
American
there was an
Rescue Plan?
expansion to the child tax credit to 3,600 through being 5 years old, 3,000 through being 18, which reduced childhood poverty by 45% when implemented.
Was this a permanent increase in the child tax credit? This wasn't like a COVID stimulus.
It was
there?
when implemented through the American Rescue Plan, which is through that year.
Okay. Is there anything else
within the context of the American Rescue Plan? Well, you could
yeah, and the
reference
COVID stimulus package, because you're saying the COVID stimulus packages did
that
not
was the
support
American
Trump.
Rescue Plan.
Yeah, I know, and that one disproportionately helped the American working class, just like the Trump stimulus packages did, right?
I don't think it disproportionately helped the average American more than it helped the rich in terms of Trump's plans overall.
And you are saying that Biden's did because he added in the child tax support. Is that it? That's the only thing that tipped the barrel over. What else was there?
No. I can reference that some of the relief that was added specifically within the context of the original stimulus packages of Trump's administration wasn't added to the same extent under the context of the American Rescue Plan. Meaning that like the investment specifically into businesses or bailing out companies was actually significantly more under the prior packages that the Trump administration passed comparative to what existed under the Inflation Reduction Act. Not the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue Plan.
I actually would be interested to hear those numbers. Maybe you can't like spew them right now because I actually would like to research that. But sure, perhaps I could grant you that maybe they put in more provisions to help the working class. But does that really necessarily say like?
Can I be specific at all? There were specific things to mitigate economic harm. There for states and for local cities. There was specifically things set up for providing each state minimum levels that they could provide for unemployed individuals. There was specifically stuff for like specific towns with fewer than a certain amount of people to ensure that there were essential employees that were helped, not just in those areas, but also specifically in the larger cities as well. For COVID emergency orders, specifically for grants for employers, for any premiums that would exist in terms of like a emergency type setting. There specifically was things for state and local governments, specifically in terms of pensions, to help them offset any losses on pensions that would exist, which disproportionately helps out the average person. Specifically for food programs, expanding access to food to ensure that those were able to eat, especially at small establishments. It specifically provided for the food supply chain. For processing facilities, it provided for preventing transmission, specifically, and then also amongst animals, and then also specifically providing overtime food for individuals who are working. So I can give countless of those things that were provided that are specific things that weren't put in previous ones. And that's not even mentioning education. That's not even mentioning other maintenance of equity. That's not even mentioning energy and utility help. That's not even mentioning like healthcare funding, right? Specifically, CDC funding.
So you're claiming every single point you just listed were provisions not in the previous two stimulus packages, but were in the third one that the Biden administration wanted to pass?
Yeah, a greater amount of funding for these particular services existed in the context of the American Rescue Plan than existed under the previous stimulus packages. Yes.
Oh,
Why?
So they did,
because there was a greater amount of
exist
Democrats that were
before.
voting specifically in the context of this bill that were able to then ensure that there was a greater amount of funding.
So they did exist before. You acknowledge that, right?
So some of these programs existed before, but not to the same extent.
Okay, so I still don't understand how like this Trump stimulus packages, like, you can make a case that perhaps if we're spending more money on these things, then the Biden version benefited the poor more than the Trump version.
No, it's
did.
just about
But
where
to
the
say
budget
that,
went.
well, hang on, let me finish. But to say that the Trump version did not benefit the poor and disproportionately benefited the rich, like I don't see any evidence to that. I think this is a very simple policy. It's kind of a given because we're in the times of a pandemic. The government passed policy that disproportionately benefited people who weren't working. Sure, some people who were owning businesses did get
Can
a
I ask
large
you a
amount
question?
of
Is there
people.
anything? Let's say that this is true. Is there anything outside of the pandemic that he passed that
Well, yeah,
benefited the average American?
TCGA was by definition a progressive tax cut. That was good. I'm glad that got extended permanently under the big beautiful bill.
It was not. So the
By
Tax Cuts
definition,
and
it was
Jobs
a
Act
progressive tax
disproportionately
cut.
went to the rich and wealthy.
By definition, the reduction of income taxed saw a greater decrease in the lower income brackets. Therefore, it was by definition a progressive income tax.
Okay, so let's just clarify. So if you want to reference, you say progressive income tax structure. So you understand that income tax, if you cut the same percentage for each person, right, inevitably it's going to give more of the money to the rich and wealthy because income tax mostly comes from the rich. Do you agree?
Yeah,
that's
I
what
do
happened
agree.
in the TCJA.
Right, but I'm defining a progressive tax cut, right, which acknowledges that the percentage of income taxed had a greater decrease in lower percentages, and that it is by definition a progressive tax.
Can we agree with one point here? Most of the money from the bill went to the rich and wealthy.
But we've already agreed that most of taxes are paid by the rich and wealthy.
I just want an answer to this
obviously, when you have a tax cut, well, yes. When you have a tax cut that cuts taxes across all income brackets, the wealthy will benefit.
Goes to the rich and wealthy. So let's just clarify.
But it is a progressive tax cut by definition. It is.
It's just embarrassing.
You agree with that?
You keep mentioning that.
You agree with that, though?
No, I disagree.
Okay, define progressive tax cut.
Yeah, progressive tax cut specifically is going to be that proportionally, in terms of percentage, you're going to pay more the more income that you make. Right. The reason why it's not progressive is because one, you're not considering that most.
What is a progressive tax cut?
Well, you're not understanding, sir. You're not understanding.
But you define what a progressive tax system is. I want the definition for a progressive tax cut.
Yeah, it'd be that you proportionally cut more for the lowest income Americans.
That's what the TCJA was.
Highest income Americans.
Yes. Percentage of income tax. That's what the TCJA was.
What you're not understanding, right, is that nominally most of the money specifically goes to the richest Americans. And what you're not taking into consideration is the tariffs that are imposed that disproportionately take from the lowest income Americans. So when you are talking about the
you're tagging on to another point.
When you're talking about the overall policies of the tax policies, you have to consider the impacts of both sets of the policy, whether it be the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, big beautiful bill, and the tariff policy that would exist. Okay, you have to consider all of the impacts.
Okay? If the question is what is a specific policy that Trump passed,
let me know when you're done.
When you ask me a specific policy that Trump passed that benefited X versus Y, I can name a specific policy without having to bring in the tariff policies. I named the TCJA tax cuts as a specific policy that benefited poor people because it was by definition a progressive tax cut. The tariff policy is a completely different discussion. The TCJA was by definition a progressive tax cut. It benefited the lower income who were paying income taxes more than it benefited the rich people in terms of percentage of income taxed. That was reduced.
Okay.
That's right. No, that part's right.
Okay. So what you're not understanding, though, is that, again, if you look at the overall bill, most of the money went to the rich and wealthy. So could there have been a greater impact?
But do you know why that
was positive?
But why? But there's an answer for that.
Listen.
That you're going to dodge over.
Listen, you cut me off one more time, I'm going to kick you from the stream. Okay? Do it one more time. I fucking dare you. Genuinely. Shut the fuck up. Like, it's unbelievable. The fact that I've had to say this to you this many times is insane. Okay? Right? So what you're not understanding is that if most of the fucking money from the bill overall goes to the rich and wealthy, you could have reallocated most of the bill to individuals that are lowest income. Okay? And you could have proportionally helped out the lowest income to the greatest possible extent. Okay? Instead of putting most of the money into individuals that are rich. Your original criticism was, well, most of the money, specifically in the context of the Inflation Reduction Act, goes to individuals that are rich. You see how now you're changing the argument when you realize that that argument and that framing could then be used against, right, any of the tax policy of the Trump administration, and at least referencing that most of the bill's money of the bill goes to the individuals that are highest income, and especially if you consider that Democrats wanted to maintain all the tax cuts applicable to income earners under $400,000 a year, and only wanted to increase tax on income over $400,000 a year. Which tax policy is more progressive? Is it Kamala Harris's or is it Trump's? Clearly in that scenario, it's Kamala Harris's.
Okay, so your original question was, Name a policy that Donald Trump passed that benefited the lower income earners more than it benefited the higher income earners. Very good example of that. Again, I'll just restate the same thing because you're going to dodge the fact that it was a progressive income tax. By definition, the TCGA was a progressive income tax. If you want to look from the way Congress writes laws, how can Congress write laws to benefit poor people more than rich people? They can decrease the percentage of income tax for poor people more than for rich people. That would be a policy. That would be a progressive tax cut. That would be a policy that Congress could write that benefits poor people more than it benefits rich people. That is exactly what the TCGA did. And all these other points you're bringing up, sure, I acknowledge that. But you have to acknowledge the tax cuts were progressive by definition, benefited poor people more than it benefited rich people by definition. From perspective of how could Congress write laws to do such? You're right to say any percentage of income tax decrease for rich people will benefit the rich people more just because they pay more of taxes. But what makes it progressive is the lower income brackets saw a larger decrease in income percentage taxed. So that would benefit them. That's my answer. I think we could both agree on this. Like just this fundamentally, and then we could have a more extended conversation about, well, maybe we should have only decreased the poor brackets and kept the rich brackets the same. I hear you. That's valid. But we should agree that it was a progressive tax cut, right?
If most of the money in the bill goes to the richest Americans, how can you say the bill benefited the average American more than it benefited the rich? To me, it seems like you can't say that because of the fact that, again, most of the money in the bill went to the highest income Americans. If you're going to say proportionally, because it is the case that less money would be proportionally more for an individual that is lower income to those that are higher income, well, because of things like standard deduction and whatnot, addressing things within that respect, well, then you could understand it from that standpoint. But that's not understanding, right, the overall amount of money within the bill, because that's the question. Is a bill that benefited the average American more than it benefits the rich? And what you consider from a bill is the nominal cost of a bill, right? And what percent of that bill went to the poorest Americans? What percent of that bill went to the richest Americans? That's the way that you would evaluate it. That's the way that I'm referencing it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're looking at a whole dollar amount saved, right? So if a billionaire saved 1% of their taxes, they're saving like $1 million. But if someone earning $50,000 had a 5% savings on their taxes, they're only saving like $5,000. So therefore, the rich person is saving more money. Is that's your view, right?
No, the point is about the nominal amount of the bill. What does the bill cost to the federal government standpoint, right? What percent of that bill is going to the rich? What percent of that bill is going to the poor? And I'm saying
so you disagree
it helps the poor more than it helps the rich in terms of the nominal standpoint of the overall bill.
Isn't that what I just said, though?
That's not what happened, though.
But that's what? But that's what I'm agreeing with you that from a numbers perspective, a 1% decrease on a person who wins $1 billion is going to save more money than a person who saw a 5% decrease who earns $50,000. And you're saying that if we look at it that way, then the TCGA benefit the rich people more, right?
You're not understanding because we're looking at it from an overall standpoint, not from an individual standpoint. I don't know why you're trying to like simplify this analysis into an individual standpoint.
But when you say an
overall bill,
I know your overall standpoint is that overall, rich people save more money, and that's because and I'm explaining why they save more money. It's because someone who's making
like he's not even addressing
Parker,
what I'm talking about.
Okay, what am I not addressing? I apologize.
I'm talking about the overall cost of the bill, nominal cost of the bill. Whether or not most
of
of the bill
we're talking
goes
about
to
tax cuts. These aren't government spending bills. This is a tax cut that we're talking about. I don't understand what you mean by spending of the bill. You can talk about revenue brought in by the government.
It is a spending bill. The reason why it's a spending bill is because it's deficit increasing, and it's also a spending bill because you have to think about the context of the federal government in terms of revenues and costs. Okay. If you reduce revenues, that's still going to be necessarily a spending policy because inevitably you're going to have to spend more in terms of debt to be able to account for that. It is a spending policy, especially from a federal government standpoint.
Okay, well,
Percy Galaxy.
that's not the perspective I wanted to look at it. I want to look at it from a tax cut perspective. I'm not looking at for how the government, how much money the government is getting or not getting. I want to look at it for how much money American taxpayers are saving.
Okay, well, I'm
So
talking about the overall
can we look at it from
bill.
that way? And it would be a
I'm talking
progressive
about the
tax
overall
cut then,
bill.
right? Okay, but I have been, but your question to me was what policy to try. I'm trying to give you the policy. It was the income tax cuts. And you keep jumping to these other policies I'm not naming. It's the specific income tax cuts.
You're
Progressive tax cuts.
misunderstanding what I'm asking you. I'm asking you for any policy where most of the funding from the policy goes to benefiting the average American over benefiting the rich and wealthy.
A tax cut is not a funding policy. A progressive tax cut will, by definition,
like, for example,
it will save more proportional income. Oh, wait, so go ahead.
Yeah, so like the point that I'm referencing is like if I were to give a tax cut specifically just to working class people, right? That would mostly go to working class people in need, right? Or if I would do a child tax credit, increase, and that's the only aspect of the bill, right? That would mostly go to working class people. So if you look at the overall bill in terms of like, say it costs $100 billion to fund, okay? If it costs $100 billion to fund, and 99 billion goes to the average American, right? And 1 billion goes to the top richest Americans. Well, then obviously that bill mostly helped out the average American. That's what I'm saying from that standpoint.
Okay, and then from the standpoint of definition of what a progressive tax cut is, this fits in the category of a progressive tax cut, right? From that standpoint?
Would this be a progressive tax structure?
The TCGA, the specific income tax cuts that the TCGA introduced, that would be by definition a progressive tax cut, right?
So if you specifically are referencing the proportions, people who are lower income, they proportionally would save more from the tax cut because of the fact that there's a standard deduction increase under the bill. So no one disputed that. We're talking about the nominal cost of the bill, where most of the money from the bill
I was
goes
never
to.
talking about that, though.
That's
you
what I was
tried to
talking
bring
about
that
this
up.
whole time. I have
But you asked
specified multiple
you asked me the
times.
policy question, and I'm trying to explain to you the policy I want to talk about, and you keep trying to switch this policy. It's the progressive tax cut, Parker. That's what I want to talk about. I don't care about this nominal spending. I want to talk about how the tax cut, the incomes that were cut were progressively implemented. By definition, they were a progressive income tax. You just agree on this.
Sir, if I'm asking you a specific question, you can't just superimpose, I want to talk about this.
Your
when
question
it's
was
not
what
relative
policy?
to the question I was asking you.
And then you
Because
jumped to a
question
different policy.
All right, I'm going to
Or a
kick you. Go
different
fuck yourself.
perspective of how to-
You're a waste of time to talk to. All right, Bill, go ahead. You can bring up your points you want to talk about now.
I kind of want to focus back on that foreign policy. I feel like we opened it up and then we really didn't close anything. So last part we were talking about like Cuba, and then you kind of shifted to the Iran and the trade aspect of it. But I was talking about American hegemony in general, and then like our long term, I guess, strategic goals as we move forward next however long you can want to factor 25, 50, whatever years.
What was your question? Can you specify?
No, I'm just saying I want to shift back to that point. So my point was I support what Trump's doing internationally for American hegemony. I think him kind of adopting this Monroe Doctrine 2.0 and getting China out of our backyard is going to be critical in the future. From a grand strategy perspective, from what I'm understanding, and I'm just doing my armchair analysis, of course, he's trying to basically maintain our dominance in this hemisphere, of course, and kind of like box China out of its like oil supply. So, and it just have allies on this side of the world in general. And I think he's being very effective. I think it's actually so effective that Democrats probably would just, even if they were in office, I mean, they would want to do this long term, but they would probably do it in a different way, right? Like the methodologies, because they've been trying to get Maduro out there on both sides of the aisle for years now. The Cuba issue, they kind of kept that. They kind of were hands off for a really long time. But no, I think it makes us stronger as a nation state. I think it kind of re-entrenches our hegemony.
Okay. I don't
know
think
if you want to mute or I don't know. Hello?
Sorry, you have a little bit of feedback, so I just mute myself so that there's not a bit of feedback there.
My
So we
bad.
didn't box China out of their oil supply completely. We've actually increased our oil prices more than we've increased theirs, especially because of how they structure their particular markets. Also, we can point to the fact that this is an increased American hegemony. It's destabilized our relations all around the world. It's led to us spending a bunch of money, especially a lot of our involvement militarily intervening in the context of the Middle East. I would argue that that's destabilized American hegemony around the world. Can you define American hegemony?
American hegemony is basically American dominance of the global international order from a political, cultural, economic standpoint. We've had it since post World War II. Yes, kind of American hegemony. We kind of generally call it Western hegemony, but we kind of got Europe under our thumb. So we lead this. We kind of lead this game, the
So you think
international
that
order,
we've
the
gotten
world order.
closer or further away from Europe since Trump's gotten in office?
I think we've definitely got further away from Europe, but Europe is going through its own kind of like internal political, um, I guess, reorientation, or at least they're trying on both sides. They're either
Okay.
trying to keep the existing established order, because the thing is, so this is how I kind of like see it from my perspective. Trump, in like, if you kind of like, I don't know, like this is my first time debating you, so I don't know your background with like how do you understand like how international order kind of like happens and how it changes and kind of like these kind of like pivot points. You kind of have like a general understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I feel like we're at one of those pivot points. So I feel like China is obviously buying to be top dog. We've been top dog since post World War II. Excuse me, sorry. We've been top dog since post World War II, and this is kind of like not necessarily a destabilization of our current hegemony, but it's like a reorientation. So it's like they're redrawing everything. That's what I see what's happening on the international stage.
Okay. Can you name a single country that we have more American dominance within,
Um,
from a political or cultural standpoint?
I would say Mexico. I would say you disagree. Mexico, I think we have a little bit more flexibility in. Um, Obviously, the stuff that's going on with the current Venezuela Cuba issues, we've kind of like we've been coordinating with these various Southern American governments to kind of deal with the cartel issues, and we've been kind of really aggressive on assassinating and kind of just destabilizing their existing networks. So I think kind of generally to South America.
Okay. So, in what way are we closer with Mexico?
Our coordinations on cartel, dealing with the cartel, arresting them and assassination.
That existed under Biden.
Yeah, but it's ramped up exponentially under Trump. You disagree or agree? Like you got videos of cartel leaders literally being like blowing up on the road. And people
Just
saying
because
it's
they have a
CIA.
different approach doesn't mean it wasn't being addressed under Biden's administration. We just weren't blowing everyone up. We were like going after people, arresting people. For example, Donald Trump's pardoned a convicted sea drug trafficker that trafficked over 400 tons of sea drug into our country. Did you know that?
Nah, what is 400 tons of what? What do you say?
Yeah, the
See what?
ex-president of Honduras trafficked over 400 tons of sea drug into our country and was convicted of it. And the Biden administration ensured that they were held accountable, but the Trump administration pardoned them.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I didn't hear about that. I looked that up.
Yeah,
But
so given that that's
my
true,
point is
what
not.
makes
Sorry, I'm sorry. Go
would
ahead.
that make you change your mind about this at all? Because it seems like Trump is then allowing that to happen to a greater extent.
Nah, come on. To a greater, nah, I don't agree. So I'm not sure about the specifics on that pardon. I'll look into it. I'm just gonna take your word for it, just so we can have a conversation flowing. But I don't think anybody has been as hard as on the cartel as Donald Trump has. I think Biden, like, honestly, this is my opinion, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree. I think like the last quote unquote few, let's say, presidencies outside of Trump, they haven't really been aggressive as they should have been on the cartel, in my opinion.
What do you want me to respond to? Like, what
No,
conversation
because
are we having right now? Like, how
you
did that
brought
build
up
upon
this
the conversation we were already having?
you brought up that Biden was more I guess aggressive on the cartel, and I'm saying I disagree. One, and I don't even think he was more effective on dealing with the cartels than Donald Trump.
Okay, and what statistical basis do you have to dispute that?
Arrests, assassinations, direct attacks, both when it comes to ground
What evidence do you
warfare
have that
and
the arrest rate is higher on behalf of the Trump administration?
like the various cartel leaders that have been arrested. I'll pull up this. I'll see if I can pull it
Yeah,
up.
go
real
ahead
quick. Hold
and
on.
if you can find a statistic, I'd love to see. While you're doing that, I'll just talk to someone else in the meantime. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates. If you want to support me as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat as always. Mary, thank you for the $4.20. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it on PayPal. Thank you. Carly, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you very much. And Deidre, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $25. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That's great. That's great to hear. Can we get some W's for them? Oh, it just like literally went away. Here's some W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Deidre. I really appreciate the $25 on PayPal. Thank you very much. Absolutely. You have W's to Zoe. W's to Zoe. As well as Abby, thank you for the $4.20. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. That's what I need, definitely. Jose, thank you for the $30. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously, though. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And then Doria, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. I think I'm fully caught up. If you want to support me, as always, again, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
18 right on the dot, but I'm sick right now. So
Do you support
that's
Trump?
why it kind of sounds all funny. Yeah, because as a neoliberal phalangist, I'd say that he.
Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. We are just looking for debates, everybody. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I am 12.
Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18, everyone. We are just looking for debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Hello? Okay, let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Parker, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT. UND.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We are just looking for debates, everybody. Only do send a guest request again if you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
27.
Do you support Trump?
Do.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
What's your birth year?
98. October.
Okay. And you said you're how old again?
27.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
There's many reasons why I support Trump, Parker. We can start with his first administration, how there was no new wars. We can go with immigration and how he made a global headline, do not come to America illegally. You talk about how he scared Canada into potentially never becoming part of the United States, which is absolutely fabulous. We definitely don't want those Democrats down here. We can start with those.
Okay, so there was never going to be the Canadians joining us, and Trump wanted to annex them, and he wanted to annex Greenland, and he wanted to annex Iran, and he wanted to annex Venezuela. So he's literally brought up all of those. You said no new wars. He started a war under his administration right now, and he actively in the U.S. have
that's why I voted
launched
for him.
strikes into southern Lebanon, or sorry, not southern Lebanon, southern Iran, which has continued the war and got rid of the ceasefire that existed. And then in terms
That's
of
why I voted for him. I don't know why you brought up a war underneath this administration. Why I voted for him for this administration was because there was no
sir, I'm asking you why
new
you still
wars
support him today.
underneath this first administration.
I'm asking why you still support him today. So you supported him originally because of no new wars. How do you feel about him starting wars today?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite thing, this war that's going on. I mean, I see why. I mean, these Islam countries could never have nukes. You know, we got to make sure that never happens.
What specific country do you not want to have a nuke?
Any majority Islam country.
Okay. Name one country.
Pakistan, Iran, Iraq.
Okay. And you know that there are a bunch of Muslim majority countries that have nukes already, right?
Which ones? Off the top of your head? Or are you looking at it right now?
Saudi Arabia. Does Saudi Arabia have a nuke?
Yeah, you're reading it.
No, I'm not. I actually don't know. I might be wrong on that.
No, Saudis don't have a nuke, but Pakistanis do.
I know Pakistan does. Saudi Arabia, do they have a nuke? You are right about Pakistan. No, I'm actually wrong. So he said I was reading. I was wrong. But yeah, he brought up Pakistan, which does have a nuke. I do actually remember that.
They have a nuke.
They might have
nukes.
multiple. They've
Yeah.
had multiple.
To have a nuke is crazy. If you have one, you might as
No,
well have 40.
they have multiple, bro.
You know what I mean? I was just
they have-
referencing that they have them in general.
Okay. You'd be pretty fucking broke to only have one nuke. That'd be fucking hilarious. You destroy it with one fucking Hellstorm missile.
What? Why are you laughing at that? I'm so confused. Do you want to actually engage in the conversation? I'm confused.
Let's talk about it, Parky. Come on. What's up, Bill?
Do you want to make your point? You said let's talk about it.
Yeah, we got to make sure none of these Islam countries don't.
Muslim
We
countries.
need to make sure that they don't have nukes. Okay, Pakistan has nukes. That was a fuck up. I don't know when they got that, but we should have made sure that didn't happen. But at least we're making sure with Iran that they never have nuclear power when it comes to.
You know that
fire-
Trump got them
missiles.
closer to a nuclear weapon?
Yeah, because of what he did in 2017, right?
Yeah, 2018.
Oh wow. Do you think that was on purpose to wage war against them in the future?
I don't know.
Just some. Okay.
I would assume not.
Pretty strategic if it was.
Actually, wait. Maybe I would assume yes. Maybe, yeah. Maybe inevitably he realized that it would inevitably lead us going to war in some degree. So maybe. I don't know. Obama
Wow.
established the JCPOA and prevented us from going to war with them and established a unprecedented levels of surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facilities. So he prevented them from getting a nuclear weapon to a greater extent than Trump did. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I really don't have too many thoughts on that. You said who? Obama?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Obama as much as like the Biden and Harris campaign. Obama wasn't like the worst and everything, but he did give a ton of money to Iraq, which is fucked.
You mean Iran?
Was it Iran? I thought he gave money to Iraq. Didn't he give money to both?
You're thinking Iran, which
They
was
give
for
money
the
to both.
nuclear agreement. It was 1.7 billion, and that was because we stole a bunch of money from them. So we're giving them back that money plus interest.
Well, we should never give them any money.
Well, then we
Steal
wouldn't
all
have
the
gotten an
fucking
agreement
Islam
with
majority
them.
countries' money.
Well, then we wouldn't have
and
gotten an
then-
agreement with them. And Trump, if he ends up getting any type of agreement with them, they would rely upon having to give up money
No.
to at least some extent.
Trump's not going to give any money to Iran.
Okay, well, do you think he's just going to stay at perpetual war?
If that's what it takes for them not to have nuclear weapons, yeah.
You understand that we
I mean,
prevented
and
that through the
obviously
context of the
Israel doesn't want us
JCPOA
to
without
just give
perpetual
up.
war. That's not what was
If we
needed
give up,
because-
isn't that like...
Sir, we prevented that without going to war through the context of the JCPOA. Hell, even the strike about a year ago didn't cause war.
We need to make sure that Israel's safe. So, like, even if we stop the war and they say we're never going to work on nukes again, I'm sorry, President Trump, we aren't going to stop. Or that means death. That means Israel's going to collapse, correct? They're going to hit Israel with everything they have.
No, I don't think them getting a nuke would be them blowing up Israel.
No, I'm saying even if they say that they're never going to get nukes, they're going to still attack Israel.
No, I don't see any evidence to believe that. I mean, even so, I think that would not be within their own self-interest to just attack other countries like that within that respect, like a direct war. They wouldn't have it. It's not self-interested for them to start it.
Well, they've had these proxies all over the Middle East that they set
Yeah,
up
proxies
for
are different than
decades.
direct war. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying so that is still direct conflict though. So,
There is
like-
conflict, sure, but like we have proxies fighting against Russia. We're not at direct war with Russia.
Right. But now the point being is there's still going to be conflict in the Middle East with that quote unquote Iranian regime at the helm.
We need to
Yeah, of
make
course,
sure.
but like the
they're the reason for terrorism in that entire region.
I understand,
generally
but how
speaking.
are you going to prevent that? Are you going to just perpetual war?
No, I mean no, I don't agree with perpetual warfare.
So then,
Like,
what's the
I think you-
solution under your view?
I think regime change has to
Eliminate
happen. I
them.
think you have to destabilize those terrorist networks like Israel is kind of working on, and you kind of have to like the Gulf and specifically Israel, they have to kind of come to a consensus. Like, okay, we don't have to agree theologically, right? But we have to integrate. Like, we're neighbors. We can't be in perpetual warfare. It's bad for business. It's bad for international, order. So I think being anti or aggressive on Iran, generally speaking, is also a good, I guess, tilt. But um, strategically, like this whole quote unquote Iran Israel conflict, I think it's a shit show. I can agree with that.
We need
Yeah,
to make
we haven't met
sure.
any of our political objectives, like in terms of concessions. We have continued the war. We're past the point which we're legally in the war. Like, it's illegal, for sure.
We need to make sure that Israel never falls. Long live Israel.
I feel like you're trolling.
I'm not fucking trolling, dude.
Okay.
What's wrong with
So,
Israel?
well, I mean, I don't believe in a Jewish ethno-supremacist state. I don't believe in any ethno-supremacist states. I don't believe in a state that's actively committing a genocide. I don't believe in a state that specifically engages in encroaching into areas within the West Bank and stealing land by giving literally arms to Israeli settlers to go in and steal land. I don't believe in a state that should be engaging in apartheid, right, and not treating Palestinians in the West Bank under occupation with the same rights as Israelis.
Are you saying that
I think that
Israel's
those things are
ethnically
bad.
cleansing
Yes.
their own country?
They're ethnically cleansing Palestinians.
Oh, but not their own country. Their own country, they don't care.
They're not ethnically cleansing Israelis. They're ethnically cleansing Palestinians.
But there's Muslims inside of Israel.
You understand that they're specifically going after Palestinians, right, that are in the context of the West Bank and not giving them the same equal rights and designations. Just because there are some Muslims within the context of Israel does not mean that all Muslims are treated under equal rights.
Are
Or
they
all
not?
Arabs or all Palestinians. Like, Palestinians in the West Bank are not treated under the same law as Israelis.
Are Muslims
But
treated equally inside of the borders of Israel?
There are Muslims within the borders of Israel, but they're not allowed to be within Israel to an extent in which they'd be a majority of the population.
Are they treated equally?
I wouldn't say that they're treated equally within society, but from a legal standpoint, they're said to have been treated equally.
Is
So
everybody
the
inside
different
the
laws
United
are
States of
specifically
America
for the
treated equally?
Palestinians within the context of the West Bank.
Is everybody inside the United States of America treated equally?
No.
Who?
I mean, I can give countless of communities that are disenfranchised in America. Trans Americans, gay Americans are treated differently, Black Americans, women.
Native Americans are treated better, have more rights than you and I, Parker.
Okay, go fuck
Not just
yourself.
Native Americans.
I'm kicking you.
but
Go fuck
also,
yourself.
no,
You're so
what?
stupid. Indigenous Americans are also disenfranchised in this country. To argue that they have more rights is so fucking stupid. I'm kicking you. You're wasting my time. Bill,
Yeah,
you can keep making your point. Go ahead.
Now, is your position that's something else I wanted to ask you about from the previous conversation. Is your position on like ethno states, like you're saying like ethno supremacist states or ethno states?
No ethno state
In
should
general.
exist. Ethno supremacists, ethno states are the same thing.
So okay, so like when you think of modern Europe, aren't these ethno states? Germany
No.
for Germans, Poland for Poland. Weren't they
No,
established
they're
as
not
separate
ethno states because, Aaron, I appreciate the dinosaur, because there's not a specific mandate that enforces that there needs to be a majority white population or a majority
Okay, so
certain ethnic population.
So you're saying from like an explicit legalistic.
Yes, there's an explicit legalistic standpoint that prevents a majority of the population not being Jewish within Israel.
No, I would agree with that, but I think when I think of ethno states in general, I think most nation states organically developed as ethno states, especially within the European
But
context.
that's wrong, right?
You disagree?
Yeah, I disagree. I think that's wrong.
So the European context, they didn't develop as ethno states, like
No,
people who were
I'm saying
kinda like...
any ethno states are wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. You're saying from like a philosophical.
Like, I disagree from an ethical standpoint. Any state that's created as in terms of an ethno state, right, is definitely like something I'll disagree with.
So, but this is my thing, right? When I think about how nation states even came to be, out of like the European concert.
You said what?
Like how nation states like developed. Like most of them didn't develop organically, right? They developed through.
I mean, I actually I don't know if I fully agree with all of these points, but regardless, like
what don't
you
you
understand my point.
No, I get your point, but I'm saying like thinking about how they generally develop. They
Do you
kind of
think
develop.
ethnostates are justified?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you think it's justified for there to be a white ethnostate?
No, like like if you want to have
No? Why
like if you
not?
want to build a Germany, right? Like a German. I mean, white's not even an ethnicity.
Okay, well, do you think that
It's
a
not an
white
ethnicity, bro.
ethnostate is justified, though?
Yes, like Germany can exist.
Yes, you
Germany
do
should
think it.
exist.
So,
Poland should
so,
exist.
so,
Hungary should exist.
okay, so, no,
England should exist.
but you think that they should be able to create laws that prevent non-white people from coming to the country?
I think it's morally incorrect, but that's up to them. That's not up to me.
Repeat that?
I think it's morally incorrect, right, from a general perspective, but that's not up to me as a non-German or Irish. Like, if
Okay,
Irish say,
if you,
"Hey,
I
we
mean, if
want to
you
only
think an
live,"
ethnostate is morally incorrect, okay, then I mean, we agree.
yeah, no, I'm saying, but like that doesn't mean they don't deserve. Like, so Japan is an ethno state.
Are there specific laws on the books that prevent non-white
They're
individuals from moving there,
they
from
restrict
living? I mean,
they
I would argue
heavily
that there are some
they
civil protections
they
that aren't
heavily
established.
restrict immigration, right? They don't want anybody to freaking. They don't want mass migration coming. They don't want like diversity.
And again, I disagree with
They're
any specific. I
ethnocentric. They're
disagree with
ethno.
any ethnostate, regardless of what country.
So none of these nation states that currently exist should exist, because that goes back into that
They
self-determination
shouldn't
argument.
exist as ethnostates. They can exist as countries, but not as ethnostates.
So
I don't
okay,
think that's complicated.
okay. So this is where I think it gets complicated. Let's say you lived
Like,
in.
I don't even know why we're having this conversation. I genuinely, I hate this discourse. This is like the most fucking horrible discourse. My
It's not-
brain
you're-
hurts
no,
talking to people
you're-
like this, dude. Every
It's
day,
not
like, it's
horrible.
just ridiculous, man.
It's not horrible discourse. So let's say you lived in the middle of somewhere in Central Africa for thousands of years. You developed a nation state organically around your people. So based on your kind of like Western perspective, they should have to open borders to all foreigners.
Is that
Just because it makes you
there
want-
shouldn't be a law on the books to restrict people coming based upon their race or ethnicity.
Yeah, no, I mean like discriminatory laws, but they should have
Yeah,
immigration, right?
that's what I'm saying.
They should control immigration to maintain their culture and then maintain demographics in their country. Do you agree or disagree?
But not to maintain specifically a certain race, right?
We're talking about ethnicity, not race.
Race or ethnicity.
Yeah,
At
like
the
no, I
expense
mean
of any other.
okay, so to me that's kind of like it's BS. If I'm from let's say somewhere in Africa and I've lived there for tens of thousands of years, right? Just because it makes you as a Westerner uncomfortable doesn't mean I should have to allow immigration from Yugoslavia or Kazakhstan. Like to me that's kind of like crazy. Like, and I think it's ironic too, coming from like a Western perspective, when damn near every single Western nation state was established as an ethno state, and they still are ethno states today. Like Germany is majority German, Poland is majority Polish, English is a little bit more mixed bag because you know the United Kingdom, France is French. Like, why don't people get to maintain their borders, their identity, their culture, their heritage, their historical lands? Ethno states is not inherently a bad concept. I see where you're saying it could be toxic, clearly. Right? But the Japanese should be able to maintain Japan. That's not like an inherently like negative thing. Like that's just how natural nation states organically evolve, bro.
I think I've already responded to this, and now you're just repeating the same thing. I
Yeah, you're
also
on
don't
mute.
know
I
why
can't- you're
we're
still
even
on mute.
talking about this in the first place.
You're on mute,
Genuinely,
gotta-
the fact that I'm even talking, like, it
You're
actually
on mute,
pisses me
Parker.
off, dude.
You're on mute.
I'm honestly done having this conversation. I've already responded to this. How many times have I responded to this?
All right, we can move to.
I think
back
I've
to
just
the-
gone over the same thing too many times in the live stream. Please stop, or I'm just gonna go on to the next person. I can't do this anymore. Like,
Yeah, we
actually,
can-
I can't do it. I literally can't. It gets to a point where it's like I've repeated the same thing over and over again, and it's just like, where else are we gonna go with this conversation?
Okay, we can move to the hegemony conversation because that's the conversation I want to have. But you,
Wasn't the conversation I was trying to have with you that you just inevitably changed and started talking about this?
I mean, I was piggybacking off the last conversation. We were talking about Israel, all that shit. So yeah, I think overall Trump's position when it comes to American hegemony is the stronger position. I think even if you think about the long arc of who he was as a person, as a public person, he's been since the '80s talking about we should focus on China. All right, I think he was the the main driver, kind of even pulling us out of that Middle East debacle, right, and then kind of shifting our focus to East Asia, which we should have been focused on a lot more, right, instead of quote unquote doing these terrorist excursions and forever wars that people like to call it. Right, I think it makes sense to focus on China, focus on East Asia, focus on the long term competitive uh, uh, um, position of America, internationally and domestically, as well as maintain our position as number one.
Anything specific?
It's
Anything
muted.
specific? Sorry, you have like this feedback on your microphone, so I have to constantly mute myself
I don't
because
know
if I
how
don't
do I
mute
fix
myself,
this.
I hear this like feedback that's like piercing into my ears.
How do I fix this? I'm new to like TikTok.
I don't know.
All right.
Okay, so like, did you hear anything I said or?
No, it was muted. It was muted.
Okay. Just repeat the last thing you said. I think you
I'm
said something
seeing
about like I asked for specifics. Sorry, go ahead.
specifics
On
in
like
regards to.
American hegemony, how it's established better relations or diplomatic relations or any hegemony around the world to a greater extent. Because I had you define it earlier as
Mhm.
American dominance. You tried to
Yes.
mention specific countries that we've established more American dominance within. And I
Hmm.
think I established to you that you couldn't provide any greater basis for that within any of those countries in terms of an ideological standpoint. And then I also showed how we're further in terms of like our own allies all around the world, right? We've reduced our soft power around the world, especially with USAID. There are countless things.
Okay, so in regards to like the South American examples, like this multinational uh, counter cartel kind of like operations that we're doing, these like joint operations that we're doing, these various nation states. Um, us leading the way, us providing training capabilities, intel, so on and so forth. I think that's going to be effective in the long run, and it's going to make us better domestically because it's going to reduce the drug trade. It's going to weaken the drug trade domestically here in America, as well as kind of even like if you think about like the us working close in hand with our South American quote unquote allies. It's also going to reduce the mass migration problems that we have. So I think that's where it gets us in a stronger position. As far as Europe is, because we can go like every continent. As far as like Europe is concerned, I don't think. Yeah, we kind of have a little bit more strained relationship with our European allies, but I don't think we'll ever stop doing business with them. I don't think we'll ever stop having a diplomatic relationship with them. I think the West is the West, so it makes sense for us to be aligned, and it makes sense for the West to be aligned, or any of those European nation states to be aligned with anybody else. So even though we have strained relations, I don't see that as quote unquote. Oh, we're just all gonna be on our own. I don't see that happening. As it pertains to like the Middle East, us and our Gulf allies, we're still tight. From my understanding, the Gulf allies actually support what we're doing in Iran. Like them and Israel, in America are kind of working in this like triumvirate. Um, East Asia, we're still doing business with China because obviously our economies are they're intertwined, but we're trying to kind of like defuse some of our reliance on them and kind of like use some of these other East Asian countries like Vietnam. They're manufacturing a little bit more, and some of these other East Asian countries. So I think like I said, the trajectory that we're going in the right direction internationally. I think, like I said earlier, I think we're at this pivot point when it comes to like the current world order. I think it's kind of like the rules are changing. Like Trump, quote unquote, is like an outsider as it pertains to like the old established guard of like the Republicans or the Democrats. So his whole kind of MO is different. And I think like the right, at least the right, is kind of like adopting his kind of international slant or leanings.
Okay. Okay, a few things to address with this. I don't think that he's weakening the drug trade here within this country to a greater extent with any of his policies. Again, like I established earlier, he's pardoned a trafficker of sea drug to our country that trafficked over 400 tons of sea drug to our country. I think his policies, actively speaking, have been worse off for limiting the specific drug trade that's harmful in our country. He's worsened diplomacy around the world, made it worse off, even with countries in South America and countries in
No
North
disagreements,
America.
no critique. Or you froze. I don't know if it was lagging.
I'm still here. I'm just
I think
waiting.
it lagged.
Yeah. Are you done?
Oh yeah, I was done. My shit lagged.
Thank you. So the criticism I have for you in terms of this is that he did not establish any better relations. There's no more diplomacy. There's no more weakening of drug trade. We were weakening it already under the Biden administration. The level of ODs was already declining. We were already engaging in diplomacy with those countries to reduce it. All it is a change in policy. It's that Trump is just murdering people now versus just arresting them. And arresting them gives us more intelligence, more information about who they're working with, what type of operations they're conducting, how many people are involved, where they run those operations. All of those things. We get better information about how to limit these operations if we don't just blow them up. Okay? You say we're reducing mass migration by engaging in diplomacy with those foreign countries. That's actually explicitly what Kamala Harris did. Donald Trump's not done that. Kamala Harris did that. She raised over $5 billion in private funds for Central American countries to build up their economies to reduce the likelihood of people coming here based upon those particular conditions. Plus, again, if Trump is making conditions worse in terms of, like, again, our diplomacy all around the world, whether it be in Asia, whether it be in Africa, whether it be within Europe or within South America, right, in terms of a diplomatic standpoint, economic standpoint, because he's imposing tariffs, making that worse off, that makes it worse off for engaging with our allies. Now, does it mean we'll completely lose these relationships? Not necessarily, but he's distanced us from them, which has made it worse off. So if your whole argument is that we need to be upholding these relationships, you can't say that simultaneously you support him undermining them to a greater extent.
Yeah, no, okay, so as it pertains to like the relationships, we're the hegemon. We're the leaders of the world order. We have been so on and so forth since 45. We have more leverage than any country except probably like China that we deal with, right? We should exercise our leverage. Redrawing or reorienting the international policy is going to have to be shaken up. Like if you have a let's say a strategic roadmap, you can't do the same things that the previous establishments were doing. Which me personally, I think, like from an opinion standpoint, they weren't they worked while they worked, but I think overall we were kind of going in like a negative trajectory as it pertains to like our international posture. What you said about the South American stuff to me is actually that's false, bro. Like the border was wide open for how long? Like Kamala said that she couldn't control it and there's nothing they could do, and then all of a sudden Trump gets in office and border crossings reduced like exponentially. So it's like the work that you said she did, it wasn't effective. Like what did it actually do? Right? Yeah, I think we have a good relationship with South America. I don't know how you're like qualifying that we have a strained relationship with South American countries specifically. East Asia, like I said, we're doing good in East Asia. European allies, it was kind of strained because they kind of lean towards your political side of the aisle. So they're the Green New Deal. They're kind of like that a little bit more. I guess leftist is what I'm getting from. So yeah, so that those alliances are kind of strained, but Europe they're not the same Europe as the colonial era, these last pre-World War II. Like it's not the same. So those relationships are good, but it's like we're the ones who are moving when it comes to innovation. We're the drivers of innovation. We're the drivers of economic output. We set the tone when it comes to the international military postures and our excursions abroad. Yeah, so I'm not sure how you're kind of like spinning that.
So we didn't have a wide open border. That's just complete nonsense.
So mute.
So we didn't have a wide open border. That's just complete nonsense. Okay. under the Harris administration, right, she did raise private funds to reduce the likelihood of people coming here. It worked within those specific countries. It was only for those specific countries. It wasn't that they said they can't do anything and that the border crossings immediately went down under Trump's administration. They'd already started going down prior. They were lower than the end of Trump's first administration on a daily basis at the end of Biden's administration. And also, you're not considering that Donald Trump in 2023 undermined a bipartisan border bill that would have secured the border and would have made the legal process go quicker. If you think there's an active border crisis, yet he undermines that border bill, that's him undermining the conditions for being able to address the border, whereas the Democrats and Republicans within Congress were willing to address it prior to that point. So I see this whole argument that you're making there just not to be good. And then I already gave you the argument for how he disenfranchised the relationships with countries in South America, Africa, Asia, and in Europe, specifically by imposing tariffs, making the conditions worse off in that respect. Also, specifically by engaging again, around the entire world in military operations, threatening to annex South American countries, threatening to annex Central American countries, like specifically Panama, Greenland, Iran. We can point to Venezuela. We can point to him wanting to annex Canada. All of these countries he's threatened to annex and has made relations worse with those countries. Now, does that completely get rid of our relationships with those countries? No, in the long run, well, we might be able to establish those back with future candidates if it's not Trump, but him making it worse off is not better. If you wanted to establish these types of quote-unquote American dominance from a political and cultural standpoint around the world, him cutting U.S. AID undermines our soft power around the world, which has also undermined that quote-unquote American dominance from a political and cultural standpoint. So I feel like you're just ignoring all of my arguments of how Donald Trump's undermining American dominance from a political and cultural standpoint, and then you're just reimposing your same arguments continually and or misrepresenting what the Democrats are doing.
Okay, so one, I agree with you when it comes to the annexing thing. That's OD. So I concede to that point. That strains relationships. That actually, it kind of gives us, I guess, a negative view, right, in the eyes of our allies and everybody around the world. But the border thing specifically, bro, Kamala Harris or the Biden Kamala presidency.
Kamala, you can just say Harris.
Yeah, Harris. They had record number crossings, like record number border crossings. Like no, I don't think anybody in the history of America had as much border crossing system. So to say that they solved the issue, okay, like they maybe scaled it down in 4 countries, but relative to the overall problem, if you have record number border crossings, how is that actually dealing with the issue? And then you see the opposite happen when Trump gets in term 2. And then the whole dispute about him undermining that bipartisan bill, that was just a political dispute. It wasn't that he didn't want to fix the issue. It was that he didn't like what the other side of the aisle was putting in the bill.
No, I mean, it's not because of what was in the bill, because that just doesn't make any sense. The reason why that doesn't make any sense is because he said he disagreed with the foreign aspect of the bill, the foreign assistance, but the foreign assistance was removed from the border aspect of the bill. The border aspect wasn't passed, but the foreign assistance was passed. So he didn't care to undermine that, apparently. And then plus, when I was saying that she addressed it, I was saying that she addressed it through the Biden administration addressed it through an executive order later on, but they wanted to address it in terms of legislation, but Donald Trump undermined said legislation. And even if you think that the legislation doesn't go far enough, then you still think you should pass this legislation until you can get into the office, and then you can do even more.
So do you think that, okay, first, what's your position on, I guess the whole mass migration thing? What's your position on it? I'm not, because I'm confused a little bit.
I mean, I think that we need to prioritize people going through the legal process, make the legal process go quicker. We need to provide a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent or serious offense. And then anyone who has committed a violent or serious offense, I'm cool with deporting them.
Okay, that's fair. So do you think we should reduce the illegal crossings, though?
By making them legal.
See, I think that's where we differ. So everybody who crossed illegally, we need to just create a pathway to citizenship, and not deal with
committed a violent or serious offense.
You don't think that's just kind of like unsustainable? Because literally, that's
I, I don't have
like
an issue with that. I mean, obviously, there could be some level of immigration that would happen where inevitably that would be the case, but I mean, I don't think that we're anywhere near that level of immigration. But sure, there could be a certain level that would be too much in terms of immigration. But I mean, with the level of immigration that happened, even undocumented, less than 4 million undocumented immigrants came to the country under the Biden Harris administration.
yeah. See, I think this is where I disagree with your side of the aisle because I think this is why you guys lost. I think this was the biggest driver to why you
Can I
guys lost.
clarify? This is not the typical Democratic position. This is my position. So don't brand the
Okay,
typical Democratic position as my position when that's not even
that's fair.
accurate. The typical
No, that's fair.
Democratic position is criminalize undocumented entry, just make the legal process go quicker, and prioritize going after those that have committed violent and serious offenses. You don't disagree with that position at all. Now, you could disagree with my position, but my position makes more sense than all of these, and I can argue for that. But don't disagree with the Democrats by saying, "Oh, you guys lost because of your position." What? That makes no fucking sense. They didn't have my position.
Okay, well, I mean, okay, clarify your position because it sounded very, very similar. Can you clarify that? You said legal, quick pathway to citizenship, prioritize the people who are committing crimes, for deportations, right? And that's kind of like the same one you just spoke.
Okay, so the Democratic policy is that they want to criminalize undocumented entry. They just want to make the legal process go quicker, and they want to prioritize going after those that have committed violent and serious offenses. My view is that we should make the legal process go quicker. We need to provide a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent or serious offense, and deport those that have committed violent and serious offenses.
I'm trying to track the difference. Is it deportations? You agree with accelerating the naturalization process. You agree with the deportation of the people who commit violent crime, whatever. Where's the disagreements with yours in the mainstream position, or where's the divergence?
They still want to criminalize undocumented entry.
So you
They just
don't
want
want
to
to
make the
criminalize.
legal process go quicker. Okay. I say I want a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who have not committed a violent or serious offense. That is a different view. Mass amnesty versus no mass amnesty.
Yeah, I disagree with both positions. I think it's just unsustainable. I think like the strain that it had on these various cities, New York, just all of these different places all over the United States. I think that's a big reason why the Democrats lost this last election. I think mass immigration is unsustainable, bro. Like, and I don't think you should just naturalize everybody just because they're trying to come to the United States. Like, you should have a thorough, robust, a really, really clear cut, so nobody's kind of like trying to read between the lines, immigration policy. Like strong borders, right? Processing people who want to become citizens of the United States. And if you break the law, then you should be dealt with accordingly.
I don't want to have a conversation anymore. I'm done. I think I just genuinely, I've hit my point today where I can't have any more conversation. I can't do it. If you want to come up a different day, you're welcome to. I'm over it today. I just can't do it anymore. I can't
All right,
force
bro.
myself to keep doing this.
All right, bro.
All right, later. I genuinely, I can't keep going. It's like actually ridiculous today. Like my brain actually genuinely hurts. I'm like really struggling to get through this. I honestly can't. I feel like today has been really difficult for me. It's typically not this difficult. Like I literally am able to get through it every single day, but honestly, like today's kind of fucking sucked, to be honest. I have not had a good day. I have not been enjoying it. And I just can't keep pushing myself through it anymore. And honestly, like this last conversation, and of course my webcam is gonna go out. Just give me one sec. Let me turn it back on. I just don't know. I just literally like my brain hurts today. It's been really hard on me today. Honestly, like I'm not even fully done with the stream today. Like I typically do 4 hours every day, and I can't even make it to 3.5 hours. I've never had a day like this where I can't do it. To be honest with you, like I don't know. I never have done that, and I just think I'm at my max, and I can't do it anymore. I'll probably chill, answer questions, hang out with people for a little bit, but I'm like overwhelmed, and there's too much. I will be on tomorrow morning in the morning, everyone. Probably. At least I'm planning on it. I don't know. I feel like recently it's been a little bit harder on me, but I feel like especially today, like I haven't felt it this bad ever. Like I feel like I had really insufferable conversations today. Like the whole time. I couldn't get around it. I don't know. I hate though like cutting my streams early though. Like that also like is a little bit hard for me, but I don't know. I was getting to a point where like I literally just like I actually just I can't do it. It like really hurts. Like it. Let me see. Thank you. I got to catch up. There's a lot of people I have to catch up with, but because y'all are so fucking nice, but I just needed a second. I needed to calm myself down, and I need a second. Because it's just been a lot. My fucking brain hurts like crazy. And I just need a time to like sit down and fucking decompress. But yeah, let me say thank you to some people. I need a second real quick. Let me catch up real quick. Let me catch up. Holy shit, I think I'm a little bit behind. Let's see, let me scroll down. Danielle, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good to W's for them in the comment section right now. Today was a pretty stressful day. LT, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good some W's for them in the comment section right now. Jay, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Laderick, thank you so much for the $10. I think it was that conversation. I think it was the conversation with the guy about ethnostates for like fucking a few hours. I really think that conversation just like broke my brain, dude. Like in a manner I just can't keep going. Like it just hurt to have that conversation like over and over again. I just genuinely like I can't hold it back. The fucking absolute pain I was going through in that conversation. Like it was so bad, dude. It was so bad. I haven't had a conversation that bad in so long. I have some more people to thank. Derek, I just said thank you to Derek. Julie, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you very much. Brand, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gravid, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $10. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That would have been a good point to bring up to them. Liz, thank you for the $2, by the way. Thank you. Vicky, thank you for the $2. Thank you. Wesley, thank you so much for the $7. Dark City, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Wesley, thank you for the $5. Thank you. I think I just give people too much time sometimes. Because I'm just trying to be genuine with people and trying to like do it, but I think I just push myself to the edge a little bit sometimes by that. It hasn't really happened to me where it's been too far, but I feel like today I just did it a little bit too far. I pushed myself way too far, to be honest. A-Log, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. So this guy doesn't know how tax cuts work, and tax cuts depends on where the tax cut is. If is it within paycheck or consumer goods? If it's within paycheck, you can see if you're liable with IRS. Well, thank you very much. Max, I think the $5, as well as thank you for the $5. They said if you get tax cuts within your home earnings from work, you may get less back than usual. Well, thank you very much. Humanity Matters. Thank you for the $50. Thank you very much on YouTube Super Chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Good to W's for them in the comment section. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Humanity Matters. Instant, thank you so much for pushing the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very true. Natty, thank you for the $2. Liz, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it was a bit of a hard day, but I'll try to decompress after all this. It's Metallizer, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5 as well. Thank you very much. Quebec, yeah, Quebec. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. They said much love from Quebec. Thank you very much. As well as I have some people to thank over on Venmo and PayPal. Holy shit, I gotta catch up there. I apologize, everyone. I'm a bit behind on everyone. Carolyn, thank you so much for the $50. Thank you very much. I'd love to say that this is for a smile, but instead it's for the headache. These callers are giving you hugs from Arizona. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, honestly, it's been worse today than previous days, so I really appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. Thank you. As well as, oh my god, Stephanie. Thank you so much for the fucking $200 on Venmo. That is so kind of you. Stephanie, thank you so much. That is so kind. They said take some time off. And also they sent another message. They said not to read out loud. But yeah, they were so annoying, weren't they? Thank you so much, Stephanie. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That is so kind of you. Thank you very much. As well as Celise, thank you so much for the $50. They said long night? ? Yeah. Tonight was a long night, honestly. It feels like a long night, but it was literally like not even 3.5 hours. Like, I almost feel angry at myself that I didn't go through the whole stream. But, like, I'm going to try not to be hard on myself. I'll try not to be hard on myself. DJ, thank you for the $5. Thank you for Hey Parker. Please take a break if you need. No one will be upset for you for taking a break. I know. It's mainly me that I'm upset with myself. I don't know. I just put a lot of pressure on myself to do that. That's just how I am. How I've kind of always been. So, there's not really much more I could do about that. But tomorrow I'll try to be back with a little bit more energy. I think I'll be. It's because you're a perfectionist. Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, I can't do any more for tonight. Thank you everyone for coming through. I appreciate everyone. I'll see everyone tomorrow morning, probably like at 9 a.m. Pacific time. But yeah, I'll see everyone then. Good. Have a good night, everyone.